Hey everybody, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. I am actually doing the show from my phone's hotspot. So my internet it went down. So Verizon, on the box for me, I use Verizon, and it's showing that I'm not connected to the internet. Like I did everything, and to no avail. So now we're having to wait on Verizon. They'll come tomorrow, but for today, I'm doing everything from the hotspot. So if there's like some lag or if it's buffering, you have to like let me know. Just because I won't be able to. Hey, Crow, what's going on? I don't have like all the flexibility I have normally, just because of because I'm going from a hotspot. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. All right. But with that said, I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk to y'all. AV, good. Sorry to hear about the internet. Hey, Wit. Thanks. Okay. It's actually good to know like what the delay is, the lag is. So thanks for letting me know that. AV, thank you, Ambi, as well. So I just saw Ambi's message. If that's when I saw it. But all right, so we're gonna talk about some game releases, some news. I did the stream on Saturday. It's actually really weird. The stream has done really well. The one with Puerto Rock, and we looked at the job listing. It actually did really well, surprisingly, because it was like a very impromptu stream. So that's like some news we could have talked about, but we talked about it Saturday, and I don't really want to talk about it again. So a little off sync, but still good. Okay. I'm here for bad. Nah, I don't know if I have any bad takes. I don't know if I have any. We did it on Thursday, or we did it on Saturday. But yeah, so good to know that. Like I said, what you see is what you're gonna get today. So meaning, I'm doing it all off the blah, 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 this thing. So if something does happen, we may shut it down early. But otherwise, yeah, we're just going to talk about some games some of these I haven't shown before. Some of these you all have mentioned. And some of these have some updates, and we have some really big news coming up tomorrow, at least hopefully for me. I've been waiting for this news for like a year. So, we have some really, really big news tomorrow. And, yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about that. I'll open up the lines if y'all want to talk about anything. And if not, and unless Lo-Fi comes in and we start talking crazy conspiracy theories or stuff like that, it might be like an earlier stream than normal. All right, but with that said, let's. You want to see a trailer? I want to see a trailer. So, this is a game I have not shown yet. It's a game that came on my radar. I'm kind of looking forward to it. And so, yeah, we're going to showcase it. It looks like it's launching again. They're doing like a remaster. So if Rudix is out there, it's a remaster. But it's kind of like the games I like. I like kind of that action adventure Metroidvania feel. I haven't played this one. I'm looking forward to it. I think it is out already on Steam, but they're going to release it on all platforms to include Switch. And yeah, so let me know what y'all think about this one. I think it has an interesting story to it, and I'm kind of cool. I'm excited what they did with it. I'll talk a little bit more about it after this. All right. So that is Castle of Heart Retold. I'm really excited about it just because it seems like it was initially, if you saw there, initially launched as like a smaller title, but they kind of redid it with some more updated graphics, more fidelity to it. And so, yeah, I'm not saying it's going to like be game of the year contender, but I am saying it's like that type of game. I'm into side scrollers, obviously, like Prince of Persia last year. Little Nightmares or I guess that's like 2.5D. But there's other ones. Dead Cells is another one. We might be talking about Dead Cells here in a second. But yeah, I'm kind of been into that style recently. I think it's a lot easier to manage a project like that. And I think a lot of times the stories sometimes get a lot deeper than the actual gameplay might suggest. Not saying that's what's going to happen there, but I am saying that it's probably something I am going to pick up sometime over the next 6 months and give it a try. So, Retold. Again, super, super excited about it. I also want to give some updates on some games we play on this channel. So Rouster already knows this update. Everybody who's been playing Orcs Must Die must know this update. But yeah, so Orcs Must Die had a PlayStation 5 release earlier this week. Could not be happier for it. With this update, there was also a few other updates to weapons. Particularly, I'm really looking forward to. There's like this flower dart trap. There's a new map, if I'm not mistaken, and some new skins in the game. So that looks to be like something we're gonna probably be giving us a whirl in the next 48 hours. But yeah, Orcs Must Die. Like I said, new trap and a new map. And I think if I'm not mistaken, we might get some new players on Save the Orcs. Hey, Ampy. Yeah, it is Save the Orcs. So I'm excited about that. I'm happy about it. I don't know about y'all. I'm happy about it. I am really curious. Like I said, I think on last week's stream, I'm just really interested in their business model. It's like very, very interested in it. But it's still giving me some fun. It still gets me my teamwork and everything. So we will be playing that on Saturday. All right, let's get to another one. Speaking of plants and traps and everything else, this game came up in it's come up a couple of times. One time it came up on Shades of Purple. The other time it came up during Orcs Must Die stream. I've never actually played it, but I did say at the time, if they came up with a new one, I would give it a throw. And so lo and behold, guess what kind of came into someone messaged me today and said, "Hey Purple, remember that statement you said?" And so here it is. So I haven't played this game. I am curious about the people who have, because I think there are a few people in chat who are familiar with this IP. But yeah, here we go. Yeah, so that is Plants vs. Zombies. I've never played it. But it does have this element of like a tower defense. I have not played, so if y'all played it, let me know in chat. It does have like a tower defense element to it. Obviously, it looks more like it's more of a simple game, at least from what I've seen. It looks like more like a simple puzzler type of situation, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know, but it's coming up with local co-op. I don't know. Local co-op, when I see that, I get it. Like, it's cool, right? It's like couch co-op, local co-op. But I just think in today's world, there should be more like online co-op. Like if you're going to offer co-op, it should be online. You know what I mean? Like I'm totally okay with you doing local co-op, but I also feel like there should be an online moment to it. Obviously, that costs more money. I get that, but I just think that would make some of these things like more. I don't know. I would play them more. So great example of this is the Contra game that came out, Operation Galugala. My kids like, really not for me though. I hear you though. I hear you. I hear you, Crow. I hear you. I said I would play it if they came out with the new one, and they did come out with the new one. So I thought I would play it. It's a very simple, but it was fun. I used to play the mobile version. Really, it looked like a mobile game to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I know Cowboy always talks about how Nintendo games look like mobile games, but I don't actually agree with that. Perfect example was today. Square Enix announced a new Octopath Traveler that is coming to, for sure it's coming to Nintendo because it was part of the Nintendo partner showcase. But like if you look at that game, like yeah, it has simple graphics for parts of it, because there is a part that it gets a little bit, I'm not going to say intense, but it is a little bit more. But just the controls of that game doesn't make me feel like it's something you would play on the phone. You know what I mean? Like, I think we've seen with gaming, like obviously Game Pass Cloud, GFN, we've seen we can play like really demanding games on the cloud on the phone. But to me, what makes a mobile game is not necessarily the graphics, because phones can like get like 4K now, right? But the controls of the game. And so like that game looked kind of more simple to me. But like an Octopath Traveler, I don't think I could play that on the phone. That's just me, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Hey, Nightfall, what's going on? No Frag Punk on Switch too? No Frag Punk. Nightfall, what's going on? Ronin Storm, how's it going? Nice to see you. Y'all, both Nightfall and Ronin Storm, great content creators in their own right. Please go check them out. More games come out with online co-op than local. Really? I've seen it the other way around, Wit. Like I said, I just told you, like Contra came out with couch co. So couch co-op and local co-op are the same thing, right? I want more games with online. Like if you're going to offer couch co-op, offer online couch co-op. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And vice versa. If you're going to offer online couch co-op, offer a mode that's local co-op. That's all. If you're going to offer that, just make it accessible for both. Also, Monster Hunter Stories 3, I'm hyped for. I'm buying a Switch 2 next year. Really? Really? Ronin Storm, you're going to buy it next year? That's cool. How about you missing? No, nothing there. Hey, Obi, what's going up? We're just talking about some games. Talking about some games that came out, some stuff. You know, I saw, Nintendo Showcase. There was actually a lot of previews today. And we may talk about that, right? We saw the Nintendo Switch 2 partner showcase. I thought what was unique about it, I don't have it. We're not gonna like watch it. You know, I'm not gonna do that. You can you can go look. Nintendo or any number of content creators co-streamed it. The thing about it is it was a partner showcase. So we didn't get to see, like, the only first party IP we saw was Zelda. And that was with they do like the Dynasty Warriors type of dual game. So they're coming out, but they had already announced that before. Like there's going to be a new Hyrule Warriors game, but everything else was a partner showcase. And I saw a lot of commentary about the showcase and how it was like, oh, this just proves like the Switch is like garbage or whatever. But I think people forget, and this is why I think the Switch will outperform basically any other handheld that comes on market, like as far as sales. And one of the main reasons is because we think of gamers as like console gamers. We think of them as PC gamers and mobile gamers, right? Like obviously then there's like Ninja Guy VR out there who's doing VR. There's like some cloud people who are very central to cloud. But hey, Ambi, thank you so much for the gifteds. 10 bomb. When you need a Switch 2 to play anything they showed. True. Well, for people who like Switch, Crow, let me say it like that. They do have Not actually. You don't need a Switch 2 for everything they showed. You don't need a Switch 2 for everything they showed. They showed some stuff that a regular Switch could do. Um, yeah, they did show some stuff regular Switch could do. I think the Octopath Traveler Zero is for the regular if you're into it. But what I wanted to say, because most of the things they showed now, obviously, like you had the whatever the FIFA new game is, FC, whatever. You had a Madden, like those probably are going to run better on Switch 2, right? Like that. I'm not going to debate that. Also, there was another one. It's the art style I really hate. It's from Take-Two Interactive. Tiny Tina's in that universe. They showed that game. I can't stand that art style in that game. But what I was going to say is like this partner showcase, I think like highlighted this other segment of the market that has been somewhat forgotten, not forgotten, but overshadowed. And that's when we think about a handheld, like obviously the Switch is a hybrid. You have like Steam Deck handheld, could hook it up, any of the handheld PCs, as well as Lotus always is talking about this one, the PS Portal. But there is a market of gaming that is like very much centric to the handheld experience, right? And what I'm talking about is that gaming experience that was really born from like the Game Boy transition to like the Game Gear, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy SP, like that entire like evolution of gaming. And then it came to like Switch, right? So Switch like combined these two platforms, and that's how you get Switch. And I think what gets lost there is like a type of gamer who likes handheld gaming. I'm not talking about mobile gaming either, right? And I said this before, like I think mobile, yes, Borderlands, thanks, Wit. I think no plan to buy the Switch 2 though. You don't need plans; it just is instantaneous, Crow. But there is like this kind of like gaming experience that is very central. It's very handheld, and so think about like what Pokemon was, right? Like despite what it is, Pokemon to me is still like a handheld game. You know, like that is still kind of how it's enjoyed. There's a couple of these that are like that. And to me, the Switch 2 Direct showcase that, specifically Square Enix, right? I think Square Enix has made it a point. Like I don't like Square, right? If there's a publisher I really don't like, Square Enix. Like I don't really have a lot of great things to say about them. But they have been on this route of trying to make games simple, and they were like one of the dominant forces in handheld gaming. And so there is this place that is not mobile, right? A lot of people are like, oh, it's mobile. But no, I think mobile, again, I think handheld gaming has a lot to do with like how the controls. Like, don't get me wrong, you can do a Jawbone. I totally hear it. You can hook up a controller to it. But like the actual like, and you could make a mobile phone do just about anything like any other handhelds can do. But I just think the organicness like of it, the form factor, playing on a screen that is about 8 to 10 inches or 9 to 7, whatever, that screen that's probably a little bit larger than a phone, unless you have like Cowboy's phone or something. I think that is very unique, and that is like a segment that gets overlooked, but they sell a lot. Like I didn't realize this. Octopath Traveler has sold like over, like the last one sold over like 5 million copies. And so that's a significant. Now, not all that is on Steam or on Switch. Some of that's on Steam and some of the other ones. But Nintendo really does dominate in this area. And I'm just saying all that, just say, I believe like this showcase was like, to me, a lot of those types of games were like very prevalent in this showcase, which I'm not saying it's for me. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I am saying Nintendo's push for like making the Switch 2 more third party friendly. You're going to probably continue to see like this continual grouping of like types of games coming out from them. But that's just me. That's just it. When Diablo 5 comes to the Switch 2, Crow will buy one. You think so? I was expecting to see Diablo 4 announced. I'm not going to lie about that. I was expecting to see that. But I could also see them announcing that closer to when they're going to do an expansion. Hopefully they do expansion, right? Like kind of like the expansion we saw left us in the middle. So hopefully they do an expansion. And when they do that, I could see Microsoft porting like an entire bundle to like the complete edition of Diablo 4, which I'll buy. Just because that's where I've been playing that's where I played Diablo 3. I feel like they'll be extending out Diablo with mini expansions for years. Hopefully, but they only did one last time. Diablo 3 only had one, or at least that's all I played. But yeah, it seemed like it was like kind of a complete story. But I hope that so I don't know. This is my feeling. Do you feel like we got cheated with this expansion? Because I don't feel like it was a full story. Like, I don't mind. Maybe it was a story, but to me, it felt like it wasn't like complete. But maybe that's me. And maybe I'm like, Purple, we don't listen to the story. I totally hear you. I think Fragpunk would be a hit on this. Why do you think that, Nightfall? Why do you think that? I'm not denying it. However, I think Fragpunk is like, let me just start there. Why do you think that? Because this actually gets into kind of the argument I was making on Saturday about why PlayStation ported something to Nintendo. Or maybe I did make this up. Maybe it was in my head. Maybe I was talking to someone in chat in the comment section about this. But in my opinion, porting something to Switch, like obviously there's like, hey, this has mass appeal, let's port it everywhere. But I think the Switch offers a unique value proposition. So I wonder why you set Fragpunk. The art style seems to fit well with what Nintendo does often. So I get that one. I guess where I look at Nintendo players, right? And this is maybe a segue I was going to get to later on in the show, or maybe I was going to talk to it about it at all. There's been a lot of conversation about Sony PlayStation, right? World lost their mind about PlayStation the other week. And with Sony PlayStation, they are porting Horizon, one of the Horizon games, Zero Dawn or New Age, I don't know. One of the Horizon games. The Lego edition of that game to Switch. So it's like Lego Horizon Dawn to Switch 2. And so like, why did they do that? Why did they not port that to Xbox? Like, it's a Lego one. Like, why did they not? And I think it has to do with like the type of gamer that's on Nintendo. Like, I think Nintendo gamers like are kind of, it's like 3 segments in my opinion, technically 4. And there's overlapping with any of these segments. Okay. There's one who likes Nintendo first party. So like bringing Fragpunk over, I would contend, hey, Geek, ayo, tag shooters for people to play. So I'm getting to that one. I think you're making a great point. What's going on? Hey, Cowboy. So I think when you think about Fragpunk, it's a tactical shooter. And so like, if you think about traditional Nintendo players, they are what? First party players. So there's kind of like this imbalance, right? So it's not that player. Not saying a first party player wouldn't play it, but I'm just saying like that market's not there. Then if we look at it, there's like kids, like just random like kids, like kid friendly. I think Zalek said it the best. Nintendo's probably the most kid friendly platform. And so like, would they play a Fragpunk? Now kids play Fragpunk, but I do think there's like a point to where like they jump and they start playing first person shooters. And I think that it's more like a PC thing, right? So when we get to that, then there's like the next 2 categories, like casual gamer, like, which I don't know if they're playing Fragpunk. Like, I think you have to be in the FPS world to actually know what Fragpunk was. And then, so then there's that gamer. And then the last gamer, and no one gives this like credit, but the last gamer is like women. Like women make up a significant portion of Nintendo Switch. And so when we look at any of those and then compare it to Fragpunk, it's like, where does why would it make sense for them to port it over there? Yes, there's no tactical shooters, but I don't know if there's like a tactical shooter audience that is going to go buy Switch too, just for Fragpunk. You know what I mean? Now, if you're going to say like, hey, there's Switch players who want tactical shooters, I'm totally with you. Like, okay, that makes sense to me. I would have to see that data, but that would make sense to me. So that's why I kind of think like when we talk about, okay, so now let's go back to PlayStation bringing Horizon Zero Dawn Lego Edition to Switch. It makes sense, right? Horizon Zero Dawn actually is one of the PlayStation first party games that did best, that performed the best with women. So now you're like, okay, where can we put this where there's a significant number of women gamers? Well, Nintendo makes sense. Kid friendly. The Lego series does better with kids at like a certain age, as well as like the overlapping of some casual gamers who like things in Lego. Again, what did I say? Nintendo has a casual gaming crew who's just like, yo, I know about Nintendo. I don't really know anything else about console wars or whatever. They'll go get a Nintendo. And then that kid friendly. So there's like the player base potentially for that. So like, I'm not saying that I don't see Fragpunk ever coming to Switch. They could do it, right? What I am saying is I think there might be a misalignment there. But that's just me. Maybe if that's the case, if there is like a lot of like, I haven't seen it on Nintendo. Like most of the time I see like the Nintendo gamers, like the life sim, you know, like whatever that Hobbit game is that you're in, like it's Animal Crossing, but with hobbits. It's like the witch game, Witch Brook. I don't know. Decoy wants to play it. And I'm making huge generalizations, right? Huge generalizations here. But yeah, it'd be up to Fragpunk to see if that's the investment they want to make, or if they want to double down where they're already at. I don't have one. I don't lean one way or another with that one. I'm just saying, like, I think the women who buy Nintendo at the moment, I'm not sure if that's what they're looking for. And I don't think like every woman gamer buys a Switch, right? like we're diverse, right? You know, like I think like some women like PC, some women like PlayStation, some women like Xbox, you know, like they still have their preferences. And so I would have to see how it's performing on the other consoles. But to me, at the moment, just given how many few players there are on Switch, I'm not too sure if it would be the best at the moment. Not saying at ever, but at the moment. Nintendo gamers are children, just say it. There are Nintendo gamers who are children. I think that's a unique selling point. So yeah, but pushback, Nightfall, pushback. I'm more than willing. All right. So, also, if you want to come on later to discuss it, more than willing to, I'll drop the link here, closer in about 15 minutes or so. But with that, let's look at some more news. All right. So this one's a thumbnail. So I'm doing like a thumbnail, and then I'm doing like a video. So kind of alternating between the two. So we got some new gameplay earlier this week from a game I'm looking forward to that's coming out next year. And that is Phantom Blade Zero. So Phantom Blade Zero had some new gameplay. And what was really unique about this gameplay from Phantom Blade Zero, if you haven't seen it, it's like an action adventure, Soulsy, almost like a fighting game genre type of deal. Really intense gameplay. So a lot of people are comparing this to, obviously, to Black Myth Wukong. Some are like Souls Light with a T. Like that type of gameplay. I think when I saw it, it does look like it's pretty intense on like the actual game mechanics. Again, like Black Myth Wukong was like intense on like some of the graphics and like some of the art, like the animations. But as far as like fighting, it was like generally like your typical like kind of hack and slashy, which I love, type of fighting style. Phantom Blade Zero, you can guys go check that out if you want. That game is like taking, like just looking at it, like the gameplay is a little bit more advanced. So it's another game coming from China, which I think it's a mixed bag right now. Wu Chang didn't do as well as Black Myth Wukong. I'm still kind of like trying to dissect what that says. But this one seems to have a lot of hype coming out of it. And what was really cool is that they showed the exact same fight scene as they showed on the announcement trailer, but it was like a different boss. Like it was like different. Like there's decisions you can make in the game that kind of determine the outcome of the fight. It was interesting to me. Hey, Lo-Fi, what's going on? Can't they make a cool ninja game without souls? I don't think so. That's actually interesting. So I feel like Elden Ring did to gaming what Overwatch did to live service. Meaning like there was a solid like 5 years there after Overwatch won Game of the Year where everybody's like, yeah, we're going to put out like our live service, blah, 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 right? And now we're kind of like it's really hard, Fragpunk, the one that Nightfall is talking about. It's really hard for them to gain traction, right? Because there's like a few incumbent like live service games, and then it's like everything else is struggling. And I think Souls games are like, or like the Elden Ring, even though Elden Ring is not the first one, but Elden Ring receiving like the massive like commercialization of it back in 2022. If you remember that, like everybody was talking about Elden Ring, like when it came out, like it hit all these milestones. It was like, it was just doing way better than what Sekiro did. And so, yeah, so then everybody now is like, hey, I have an action adventure game. Oh, make it a Souls game. You know what I mean? So I think we're kind of in that point where it's somewhat oversaturated, maybe a little bit. But they're not going to go away, right? Just like you see these live service games continue to get launched. You're going to continue to see these Souls games continue to get launched. And so, yeah, I think we just have to see a new paradigm. In my opinion, this is my opinion. Be very honest here. I think the next category of game that becomes really hot is going to be an MMORPG. You can kind of see it. There's like 2 or 3 of these that are like in the background that we see things like Light No Fire or No Fire Light. I forget what it is. But like you hear that one a lot. Everybody's playing like Dune. So you kind of see this world where we're using established IP to create like MMORPGs. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zayek, if that's not what that is, but I thought it was. I think Destiny put online more on the map than Overwatch. Maybe. But Overwatch won Game of the Year. And when I hear things, I hear people talk about Overwatch. Like the and wasn't Destiny also paid? Was Overwatch paid as well initially? I don't know. I just know I talked to more people and they reference Overwatch than Destiny. Not saying which one's first. Like there's definitely a world where Destiny inspires Overwatch. But I would say Destiny also is like doesn't Destiny have like a campaign? Overwatch doesn't have a campaign. Does it? Hero shooter? No. Hellclock is an action RPG, so I just don't know why they ruined a good game with Souls-like stuff. I don't enjoy those games, but I agree with you. Yeah, like I just think we're in the middle of it. I used to play Elder Scrolls Online, but they have so many mechanics to make you hate playing without playing. Oh my goodness. Really? That's interesting. No, I've never played Elder Scrolls, but I like, to me, it's kind of this convergence, right? We hear all this about like the metaverse and metaverses have existed for a while, right? But I think like this more curated like thing that people just get lost in and just do stuff. Like I look at Robolica, I think it's Robolica, Zalek, and Granite. Like they're really like that is one of their games, right? And as we see like kind of some of these older what I call is like metaversey games, like as we see those starting to become long into the tooth, they're always going to exist, at least in my opinion. This other one that can maybe, because of the computational power, because of the size of the game, because of the number of people, because of the universe, because of like the graphical technologies, just so many things, like they are able to open up that world much more than maybe like 16 years ago when we first started to see these games kind of like make their way out. And so that's to me what I see, but maybe I'm wrong. Hey, Louis, what's going on? PlayStation bringing all its games to Xbox. Louis, if you want to argue this one, I will argue with you on this one. I will argue with you. Louis, I put you on my thumbnail. I put you on the thumbnail the other weekend. But y'all crazy Louis, all the way from DR, the person who has little dwarfs in the background moving his camera. It's the freakiest thing. If you go to Louis' channel, he'll do this and the camera like moves with him. It's really freaky. But it's crazy Louis. Welcome to the chat, y'all. The main captain of that show, Xbox International. So that is Phantom Blade Zero. Got more trailer, just released some gameplay. I thought it was cool. So we're going to now switch to another reveal. So we were kind of talking about Metroidvanias. I showed the first one earlier today. Here's another one. Hope you like this one. I thought it was an interesting crossover. It's a game I checked out from the library. Ended up buying it because I thought it had a really interesting gameplay loop. So, but it has an interesting crossover here. And so, yeah, I want to know what y'all think about these crossovers. All right, here we go. So that is like combining BlazBlue, that fighting game universe with at least I think it's the fighting game universe. BlazBlue with Dead Cells, and I think Dead Cells is pretty. I just got introduced to that, and it was interesting. I don't know why, but Dead Cells has a really interesting play loop. I like it. Obviously, they're updating it there with what looked like solid the combos, which is what BlazBlue. That's why I thought it was BlazBlue. Kind of the combo fighting style. I think it's a rogue light. It's a rogue light. If it's it's hard to say, right? Because if we think about Dead Cells, it's a roguelite, right? Where you lose all your stuff, minus maybe some power-ups you do, and then the world changes. So I think Dead Cells is purely rogue, right? It's a rogue game. And then, but from the way I don't know how you're entering BlazBlue. Maybe it's a Metroidvania-esque, where you're unlocking a map. But I don't know. I don't know which one you would lean more heavily. I think they're all kind of inspired by similar gameplay mechanics. But I don't know which one's more heavily influenced there. But for sure it's roguelite. Because Dead Cells it. And I was at another video. You were? What were you at? Louis, where were you at? Wait a minute. Purple had curly hair today? Yeah. I had curly. I always wear my hair curly. I haven't straightened it in a long time. I usually don't straighten it in the summer as it'll humidity will frizz it up a little bit, so I just keep it curly to enhance the curl. That's what I do. Looks cool. I haven't played a good 2D game in a while, but Purple, I'm getting your 24 game of the year next from really. I saw that. Well, I'm not going to say it's for everybody. But I liked Prince of Persia. It's you probably won't have because you play it on story mode. Which is totally fine. So it probably won't be as frustrating as a traditional Metroidvania. You're gonna probably be like, this is too easy. But I thought it was interesting puzzles, interesting challenge. The story was, I'm not gonna say I never saw the story coming, but I thought it was kind of cool. I spent some time in it, and it was between that and Black Myth Wukong, and I gave the edge to Prince of Persia just because it was a more complete game in my opinion. People will say I was crazy, but that's my list. Um, wants me to hop on to debate PS bringing everything. Louis, come on. Louis, like, let me get through the rest of my thing. I think, great genes. You think so? My mom, if you see my mom's hair, she has thick, straight black hair. And so, we always have like these competitions, because she can't, like, I can do my hair in any hairstyle. She can't, because her hair can't hold texture like that. But her hair is thicker than mine, which is impressive. So yeah, crazy. No one wants to hear your nonsense. Pearl needs me to. Oh my goodness. I think I could. Pearl, did you see my guys Bitmap Bureau Terminator 2? I did. The new Terminator 2-day platform. I saw that's coming to Switch as well. I was actually going to show that. I forgot to. There's like I saw all these games that are coming to Switch, and no, that one looks pretty cool. It's like an alternative ending for Terminator. Are you gonna play it? I'll watch you play it. Yes, thanks. My hair is getting so thin and balding. Oh, you saw my hair roster. We'll post it maybe next week or the week after. But yeah, roster and Wit saw my hair recently. All right. So that is Blaze Blue, right? All right. So here is where we get really interesting. I'm going to show you 3 different things in a row, and I'm going to tell you why they're interesting here in a second. So the first one is this is happening tomorrow. I told you all there's something I'm super looking forward to tomorrow. I waited a whole year for this. Actually, 51 weeks, not quite 52 weeks, but 51 weeks for this. And that is the THQ showcase that's happening tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow. Now, you might be like, Purple, why are you interested in this showcase? And I'm going to tell you why I'm interested in this showcase, okay? So that's the THQ Nordic showcase. Now, why am I interested in this showcase? Because they most likely are going to give us a release date for, wait for it, you know it, Reanimal. So Reanimal, my number one most anticipated game of 2025 is most likely going to get a release date tomorrow because THQ Nordic is the publisher for Reanimal. So I am crazy excited about this. But I'm also crazy excited about this, and hopefully next week I'll showcase something about this. Because if you remember last year's THQ Nordic showcase, they gave us a teaser of one of my all-time favorite franchises in Darksiders. And so if tomorrow we can get a launch date for Reanimal, which, oh, by the way, you already know this thing right here, this is the Reanimal Collector's Edition. I will be buying this. I will be buying this for Nintendo as soon as it comes out. Like, as soon as I can pre-order it, I'm getting it. And I think they're waiting till they give us a release date. But I am super excited about that because we know Reanimal's coming out this year. But if we get any news about a Darksiders 4, I cannot tell you how excited I am about this, right? Any new, if they, like, obviously if they give us like a spin-off of like Darksiders Genesis, I'll take it. Like, I like the lore. But if they give us a Darksiders 4 official announcement, this will be potentially one of the biggest news things for me since I've been streaming. Yes, that is Miss Piggy slaughtered. Yes, you haven't seen that scene where the pig is like that? So I am really excited. Like, I think, like, if I had to say what are my top, like, announcements so far, Announcing Tears of the Kingdom, pretty big announcement for me. Announcing Little Nightmares 3, pretty big announcement for me. Pikmin 4, pretty big announcement for me. Them announcing, if they were to announce Darksiders 4, that potentially will be the biggest announcement since I've been streaming. That's not exaggeration. As someone who's really into the lore, like Little Nightmares 3 is big. Little Nightmares 3 is big. Like, I don't know which one is there. Reanimal was a pleasant surprise. So I'm super excited about that. But this one right here, this is potentially the most important showcase this year for me. Obviously, them showcasing Switch 2 was big. But tomorrow, if we are to get a Darksiders 4 announcement, I don't know. I might stream again tomorrow. That's how excited I would be. I'm growing my hair for Halloween, so it could do an 80s throwback from Stranger Things. Have to say, when I met you, your hair was thick and curly. Yeah, it was. I wear it like this usually. But because wasn't it raining that day? I think I was going to straighten it that day. But it was raining. And so I was like, I didn't do it. My number one game is Doom. That's you talked about movies this week. I didn't. I did. I talked or you talked. Darksiders hasn't been updated in a long time, so I get it. Yeah. What's Purple rambling about? Darksiders. This Ron. Tomorrow, showcase THQ Nordic live broadcast. All these times. 3 p.m. I have a super important call at 3 p.m. But I'm going to ask her if she wants to watch this with me. With my call. If she's in chat, she knows what I'm talking about. So yes, that is coming tomorrow. And then we have one more game. This one is like a cowboy game, I feel like. We have one more game. This is like a Crazy Louie game. We have one more game. And then I'm going to open up the lines. But here's the last trailer. But yeah, I just talking about Darksiders gets me excited. But here's the last trailer, and then I'm going to drop the link. That's actually not the trailer I thought it was going to be. But that game is also cool. Gives me a little bit of like Stellar Blade meets Outriders. Y'all know if we get... That would actually be like monumental drop if we get Outriders 2. Looking at you, Square. There's a reason why you're the most hated publisher from me. But if we ever got Outriders 2, that would be super cool. But Jack of all trades, welcome to the chat. Jack, why will you be celibate for a year? That seems like an odd thing. To say about Darksiders 4. But to answer your question, thank you for the super chat, Cowboy. So here's the question. Would I be upset if Darksiders 4 continue with the style like Darksiders Genesis, the overhead view? No. I mean, I would say it's kind of like Diablo, right? Like I like Diablo. Um, but to me it's more about the lore. Like I like stories. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I'm super oh my goodness, I'm super excited for y'all to see this project I've been working on. It's gonna launch in September, so like 7 more weeks. But it's like Little Nightmares, right? Little Nightmares 3. They're giving us a book. You know what I mean? They're giving us like a comic as well. Like I love like getting engrossed. Is that the right word I want to use? I like getting immersed in the world that's being created. So would I be disappointed? Not necessarily. Like I just want anything that gives us a little bit more about that universe. And if we get a little bit more about Strife, like I liked learning a little bit more about Strife and War in Genesis. But obviously if they can censure a game around Strife particularly, because here's the thing about Strife. Like unlike Fury, if y'all haven't watched Darksiders, like you won't have any idea what I'm talking about right now. But there's basically 4 horse people of the apocalypse, right? There's War. He's like your tank, big dude, like very like he's kind of like dull in my opinion. There's Death, who's like very agile. He's the eldest. He's the leader. He's like really savvy. You know, then there's Fury, right? And she's like her name says, hot tempered. But she does have like some form of compassion. And that the first 3 games are like really around those. But the thing about Strife, that why I'm so excited to see a Darksiders 4 in the game about Strife, has everything to do with Strife is the one who is on Earth, right? Strife is the one that has compassions with humans. Strife is the one who's always advocating on behalf of humans. Like, hey, they're not that bad. Even though the Strife is technically, if you think about the traditional names of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, Strife is actually like famine, disease. Like Strife is the one who like kills all these people, right? So if we were to take that like traditional biblical sense, and then put in the game of Darksiders, I don't know. I just get excited. Like, where are you going with this? You know what I mean? And so, would I be disappointed? Not really. Do I want to play a game that looks more like Remnant? Of course. Or what we just saw. Like, I like their person shooters. So, of course, I want to see that. But I just want to expand the universe. Hopefully that answers that. All right, let's see what Jack said. Because it would be more exciting. Let me see. I can't. Let me just start clicking these things because it's easier. Because it would be more exciting playing the game. Oh, really? Oh, my goodness. I would be super excited. Oh, my goodness. All right, let me drop this line. I feel like someone's cruising for bruising on a debate. Lightsiders. Oh, my goodness. Sounds like a paper bag test if I've ever heard of one. I think the game looks more like the first Descent with Death Stranding, but the bike looks like Ben's in Full Throttle. Interesting. Yeah, so no, the game I was actually going to show was a game called which I was thinking, is this another game called Chronos something cross something? I told you there's so many games called Chronos that I'm just like, why does every game that has to do with like space and people want to be edgy, they call it like Chronos. Like something Chronos. I don't get it. I don't get it. So but no, those are the trailers for today. Now, crazy, if you want to come in here and talk about PlayStation or whatever console warring we're gonna do today, I'm ready for it. For the 4th game, I would like to have a top-down approach for Strife. Though the 5th game, I would need all the mechanics put together for each level or each class, each person. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see where they go, right? Because the games obviously run in parallel with each other, right? You have Darksiders 1, which is running kind of like, technically is the latest that we've seen. Darksiders 2 and Darksiders 3 are kind of around the same timeline. So like Strife, obviously I would want to see them go into Oh wow. So we are in war with Jeff again. I see. Purple wants to. Do I? Chronos me. Is it Chronos? There's like a new. It's a new space one with Chronos, and it looks dead like just like Dead Space or Space Dead. It's one of those names. It looks just like that, but they call it like Chronos something something something. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here, who do we have? Oh, this is another cowboy. What's going on?
What's going on, Purple? How's it going?
Going well. Oh, you're at the pool. What cowboy dude? This is not that type of stream. It's not
Now my you know what it was? I was relaxing for a bit, and I was just sitting out listening to you. And I was like, let me come on here real quick. So I put a comment out there though that you didn't see.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me go back up.
No, I'll just bring it up. So you was mentioning these games that's similar to the games I like, but my problem is so the Real Ariel, if I give him a shout out real quick, he had a question.
Go ahead. Real Arrow's good people.
Good people. He
shout out if you have not checked out the Real Arrow, does a short every single day. Super cool questions. Yeah, I like them.
So he said, the question he had was, what type of genre do you feel is being overdone?
I saw that question.
Yeah, or you kind of dislike. And the same thing he thought was what I thought. I feel like I'm a big fan of hack and slash, God of War, right? A progression system. What they're getting out of hand with is all of these games come out and they're either rogue light. Thank you for helping me that. I didn't know if it was like a light, but rogue light, or like a Souls light game. Like you got Tides of Annihilation, which I think looks like the best out of all of them coming soon. You got the Wu Chan game, whatever, Black Myth Wukong. You got Lost Souls Aside. You got Phantom's Blade Zero, Phantom Zero Blade. Like these games are all looking Souls-ish. Well, they're looking hack and slash, but now you don't even know which one isn't. Like it's driving me crazy. Hold up, I gotta get. Okay, all right.
I think his phone went in the water, y'all. Cowboy, did you drop your phone in the water?
No. So I jumped in,
and like his phone died.
I jumped in and I accidentally switched like the screen. But so yeah, it's like it's driving me crazy. And I just want to beat enemies up. I don't want this whole like it's super tough and like you die and go back 30 levels back. Like it's annoying. And I feel like all right, so here's the thing. You brought up Elden Ring, right? One game of the year.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Elden Ring was they said it too. It's the easier of all the Souls games. So, or it starts off that way. Like when I got it, right? And I'm not a Souls guy at all, but I want to check it out. I was this close to buying it because it made me feel like I could play the game. And then I realized I couldn't beat the first big boss. But the little characters you fight, I'm like, I could beat them. You play Sekiro, and you can't even beat the little people. So like, I'm getting tired of these Souls games stealing all the games that I think I would like. But that game you showed, Exiled, looks cool. Definitely looks like my type of game.
It looks like a third-person shooter. It has like I said, it looked kind of like Outriders when I see it, and I love Outriders.
It does. Yep, I know.
But it also had like a little bit of what's the game last year? Chicks running around with their cheeks out. Stellar Blade. Yeah, it kind of had that when she like transforms into does her combo. But what I would say about I did a stream right before Black Myth Wukong came out. I think y'all can go, but if it's titled something about like warning about Black Myth Wukong. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing: when Black Myth, when a game wins Game of the Year, and this is why I say like big money in gaming, is people are like, oh, it's great. Like Doc Dark is gonna argue with me and say like,
right,
this is great, right? But the thing is, like, when you have big money in gaming, they want to see they're not going to take risks. They're going to say like, I want what did well before. That's the safe bet. So when they won, they're like, let's put everybody who had an action adventure game, any type of thing, they're like, make it into this Souls like game. But on top of that, you have the Chinese market. Now, the Chinese market is just like any other market, except for one thing. China knows how to reverse engineer the F out of, you know what I mean? Like, So now you have like this other entity that is like saying, okay, that did like Black Myth Wukong. That did what that got us on the map. So now they're gonna push it off. So I feel like we are in the middle. I think it is the middle. Like that's why I said like the MMORPG. I think that has not had its time in the sun. Like where everybody's like,
technically that's Destiny.
Destiny is one.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them, right? Destiny.
And the problem is every time they make a game similar to Destiny, everybody say, "Oh, this is Destiny killer," and it just doesn't do good. Like
but
the
see,
most recent.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the most recent game that came out, and I was really into this game. What is it called? They changed the name when it came out. It got like, you know, the characters in third person running around. But it's a MMO. What is it called? Remember Purple? I kept showing the trailer. It was like you know, a bunch of characters you could use. They got guns. They got a grappler hooks they could use.
Well, the one on PlayStation with the bunny?
Yeah, yes.
You know who would know that? Geek would know what that game is.
Yeah, what is that called? I tried to get into it.
It came out the something it's not the Outsiders.
No, come on, chat. Come on, chat.
I know exactly which game you're. Yeah. It's something like Outside, but it's not Outsiders.
Because they made a big deal when they added the bunny character. Yeah, they made a big deal when they added the bunny character. She can move real fast.
No, it's not the First Descendant.
Yes. The First Descendants.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. And that it was just too much. Like you could upgrade everything, and like I was just like, whoa, like if they want people to get into this stuff, it's kind of like way over your head. You know what I mean? So they got to find a way. Like,
but see, that's why I say like I think they're starting. So like the Dune Awakening, like people know that universe. It has a preset universe. Like right, I think. You have that. You have the game from the people who are, like I mentioned it earlier, the one that from the people who made it's called No Light My Fire, something like that. It's from the people who made what was the big Xbox game? Like the space game, Xbox space game?
Starfield.
It was Starfield before Starfield.
Okay.
Well, it was this game that was in production for like 10 years.
Oh, but it's not an Xbox game. You're talking about the one that's on coming to PC forever, right? It's
from like the makers of that game. It's from the makers of that game. They've announced it, and that's going to be this big massive. So I feel like that's what I'm saying. There's like, and so like what I'm saying is I think the Souls genre is going to run its course, just like I think the live service genre has kind of like run its course, right?
It's getting a backlash.
Right. There is.
Like
No Man. It's from the makers of No Man's Sky, but it's not No Man's Sky.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's not the game I was thinking about.
Yeah, it's from the makers of No Man's Sky.
So you know what's crazy? So you mentioned this the other. I think you mentioned this, but you did mention this. So they're coming out with a Hellraiser game, and so the Hellraiser game is actually just single player, and the fans went crazy. Now you would have thought it'd have been like Dead by Daylight, it'd have been multiplayer, but nope. And people are like, thank God there's not going to be another multiplayer game. I'm like, you're right. We are getting tired of everything's multiplayer. Give me a good single player game that I play and beat, tell everybody about it, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, I think this, multiplayer is getting a little bit stale.
Yeah, it is. So I think,
or at least for live service.
Live service is getting stale. And so in what people don't like, that's why when I talk about like gaming decisions, like a game when it gets launched, and this is if Crazy Louis comes on, I
can't wait to rip him a new one.
But the thing about it is like games are the landscape we are seeing now is actually the landscape that was decided 3 to 5 years ago. Because that's how long, like that's when games get determined. So that's why I feel like we're still in this little cycle here for a second. But to break it, you kind of like, unless there's some drastically new type of game that comes out, I just can see like, oh, we lost Cowboy. Y'all already heard me. I just see like those are like the ones that I see people who are really into it. They're really into those universes. I still think there's going to be still like action adventure, fighting, shooters, and blah, blah, blah. I still think that's going to exist. But I feel like to break kind of like this, what is currently the live service strangle, we are going to have like these other ones that are a little bit more connected where you're coming back and more times. And there's like, you can go do a mission together, or you can go build out something. Or if you just want to hang out in the world, you can just hang out in the world. Like, I think as we get more and more resources are putting in the computational power, and you want to have these really unique worlds, you're going to have these like worlds that are just these massive things.
No, I agree. But do you think that's going to have to be next gen?
I think no, I think it's now. I think it's now. Because so much of those games are actually ran in the cloud, right? So when you talk about a lot of that a lot of the horsepower is actually, that's what separates like this. The first push, if you think about it, was World of Warcraft, right? Right. That was kind of the first, like when it pushed back in like 2004, 2005 time frame, where it was like really getting popular. And I remember like, because I was in the army at that time, and I was like, what are y'all playing? And it just like these kids, that's what I had to kick a kid out. Because that's all he would do. That's all he would do. And so like you have these like, but the thing about that back then is it's so much was on your computer. Like it was on like this stagnant server. The technology has gotten so much better, and we have so many lessons learned. I think I just look at the games that are starting to trickle out that are keeping gamers in, right? That are starting to develop this slow movement. And then before you know it, it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is like this is where I go hang out with people. You know what I mean? Like this is where we build our settlement. This is where, or the same way people talk about raids, like Rudigs and Nads would always be like, yo, we're going to go do a raid. Anybody want to join it? You know, it's going to be, to me, I think we're already there. And I only think there's only going to be there's only one company that's going to make another generation of consoles. So so I'm not sure if that's, but,
you mean after that? Because we already know that Xbox is talking about making a console, and PlayStation is talking about making a PlayStation 6.
I don't think Xbox is going to make a console. I think Xbox is going to lend out their name to Asus or to Dell or to Logitech to make a console. I don't think Microsoft's going to make a console. I think PlayStation will make a console. And I think Nintendo, depending on if cloud were ever to become a thing, that's my thing. When you have cloud gaming and you have a device that can run cloud gaming, why do you need another console? Like, you know what I mean?
Because the world, you know what the thing is? Nintendo is super popular, but cloud is not. So somehow, if Nintendo, you know what we need? We need to see when Kojima's OD game come out. Because that, I was hoping Haven Studios, but now it doesn't seem like Fair Games is really this big cloud game that once upon a time Jada Raymond was working on with So maybe OD, right? That was supposed to be the thing, right? Kojima was working on a cloud game that was going to come out for Xbox. So the world just needs to see like when somebody say cloud, right? Like remember we was into it. We was like, we got no downloads. We got no one cares. What I found out is no one cares. And then the technology got so good. Now when I'm on there, like me and the guys would be talking, and like somebody came on the other day for Re Wrestle Wednesday. I was like, oh, it's an update. It's like, oh, I forgot. His update downloaded so fast. Like this isn't back when we were playing PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Yeah. Technology now with these new consoles. So what the world need is not you said it before the other day. So what we really need is games, right? We don't need like what I'm looking for. Not hardware, but no, like oh, people's getting mad that Xbox is not getting rid of their movies and stuff, right? And like we don't really need like oh, the extra stuff it could do. Oh, it could do quick resume. Oh, it could do like that's cool, but we need to see games. So cloud for me needs to come out with something where a PC person be like, I don't even know how my PC could run that. And somebody on a console will be like, this is no way possible my console could play this game. And until we get that, I just don't know if people are going to care about cloud that much.
No,
And
I agree. So,
Mhm.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But my thing is, if we're seeing, and this started happening about a year to 2 years ago, Ron Slusher said games are becoming too expensive. Totally, every single exec is saying that. Every exec is saying that. So if they're going to be pulling back, so that's going to probably be shorter games. And we heard them say that 3 to 4 years ago. We already kind of are seeing that now, where games are shorter. We're seeing, graphic fidelity. Some people are going to still push it just because, they want to push it, but you're starting to see that pull back, right? So then it's like, all right, well, if we haven't even reached the full power of the Series X or the PlayStation 5 Pro, and you're now saying these people are going to be pulling back, then so you're now going to build a console for what, for 3 games? You know what I mean? Because so everybody that's where I kind of am like, only I'd see PlayStation doing it. I don't know about Nintendo. If they do, it'll be in Nintendo got 8 years out of the last iteration.
What's up?
Who knows? They may push it another 10 this time. You know what I mean? Hey, Sandy, how are you?
Sierra. Sierra.
Oh, Sierra.
Sandy's
my goodness, that's mini Sandy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's something you said
she
earlier.
was the one in the gym. She was the one in the gym that day.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Back in the gym.
Better get back in the gym, girl. You know what you said that was important though. So you mentioned World of Warcraft. You mentioned games that come out and they kind of push the boundaries, and then everybody want to do that. I feel I was when I did my show on Tuesday, I was like, all these games are looking the same, these Souls and Rogue games, right? I said, but I feel like where it started, and I went to Sekiro, and I was like, just watch the trailer for Sekiro, and you'd be like, man. Now, granted, the graphics wasn't what it was today, but it was that same looking, running around in feudal Japan, and it, the creatures look like they're half dead, and a dude on a horse, and the horse got giant antlers or a hand coming out of it. But I think I'm going back to the cloud. If we could get a game that could make people go wow, and I'm not saying game of the year, but you made a good point though. Anything goes game of the year, people want to duplicate it, right? Originality is dead. Let's be real, unless you're indies, right? So it's like, okay, if OD, right? If it is a cloud game, and if it's because remember when we was in the Stadia and they was the word was there was a game being worked on that's 1,000 gigs. There's no game in existence that's 1,000 gigs, right? Even if you get Call of Duty and all of his updates, you know what I mean? You're not 1,000 gigs. So if there was a game that came out and technically it's 1,000 gigs, but it's in the cloud, so you can't download it, right? You physically can't download it, or they won't allow you, right? Yeah. And the resources just your computer would just blow up, right? If they could do that and the world goes wow, and it's a good game, that's the thing, and it's a good game. Because remember when we was in the Stadia, they was talking about, I forgot what country it was, but it was some country that was supposedly working on a God of War style game, but it never came to Stadia. Remember, it was they kept, I think it started with a T or something. They had a trailer and everything, and they was
Tibet.
like, oh, it's like God.
It was Tibet or something, and
yeah, and we was like, oh, and it's supposed to be utilizing the cloud. So long story short, if we could get something and it's a good game, then I think the world would be like, oh wait, you could do, because no one thinks about that with cloud. We talk about, oh, again, the no downloads and stuff, but we never get into you do realize the cloud could be this super massive game because it wouldn't technically be on your hardware. It wouldn't be limited by your hardware, and that'd be good for computer people. So for instance, WWE 2K 2025 came out, right? And this kind of sucks, but Jersey, one of his boys was like, hey, I seen you playing the island mode. I'm on my PC. I don't say, how do you get that? I was like, it didn't come out for PC. He was like, what? He's like, my PC is real strong. I was like, no, majority of PCs aren't strong. So they literally didn't give that mode to PC. It's only next gen. He's like, bro, my PC is so powerful. I'm like, I'm sure it is. but your nephews and
Sure
whatever
it is.
isn't. And so guess what? They said we're not even putting that mode on PC. So just imagine if something was cloud, then you wouldn't have to worry about how powerful your PC was, right? So, I might be going back to some Stadia days or whatever, but I'm just saying.
No, I think you're right. And Zalek says she's tired of like the Souls looking bosses, like where it's like a boss with a hand instead of a head and stuff like that. Like, no, I agree. I think, but again, I go back to like, that's when Black Myth, I made a whole stream about this. I talked about the Black Myth Wukong and the downside of it. And that is like that game got over. Oh, I think I got some. Okay. I never do this one. Cowboy, we got someone who wants to talk to you. I never do this.
Me. It better not
yeah,
be
I
crazy.
never do this. I very rarely do this. I very rarely do with
I've
two
never
people.
seen you do this ever.
All right. Here we are. Let's go.
Oh,
what's up?
now,
guy?
you know what's cool is both of you guys are on here. Did you guys know? Maybe not, but I had a recent video I put out and it just went crazy in like 2 days. It had like 2,000 views and now it probably got 3,000 something, whatever. But you guys was in my video.
What?
Really?
Yeah,
What
so
was it?
I was making the video for the Fold 7, the Galaxy Fold 7. So I bought it and I wanted to, I was like, okay, let me see. So Purple, did you know I returned it? Because you kind of got on me a little bit. You was like, so you're gonna buy a $2,000 phone and you got the one last year. I was like, well, this year I wasn't gonna get a phone for 3
Better
years.
camera.
But this year,
You're like, I'm a phone guy. I'm a phone guy.
So guess what? I keep it real. I got it and I was like, what I didn't know was they put the hole punch back on it, which is not cool. You can't use a stylus anymore. So they took some steps forward. Like it's ultra thin, thinnest phone I ever had in my hands. It's so light, but anyway, I returned it. But you guys were streaming, and I took a clip of you on your channel. So I used it when I was trying to play like the volume and stuff, and I was like. So you see me like playing on the Fold 6, and then you hear Lo-Fi talking. You see me playing on the Fold 7 to see which one is louder. So I chose to use your clip.
That's cool.
Oh, that's super
bro.
cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, I forgot I didn't say that. Well, what's up, Monk?
Well, I hear you guys talking, and I hear what you're saying. You're bringing up cloud gaming. There's something staring right in everybody's faces. It's the obvious next step in gaming.
Really?
Like AI. Look at all these data centers they're about to build everywhere. You think that gaming's not going to end up being a part of that? Like, look at all the Daydream AI games where they wander into this. Have you ever seen those? Like the Minecraft where like they're just wandering into this melting painting, and as they turn, the world. I mean, that's where it's going.
I think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, okay, I could see AI as far as So let's say something like Elder Scrolls, right? So you play Elder Scrolls, you see an NPC, they say the same stuff. If they could use AI that, like, when I go see the NPCs, like they're gonna say something different every single time. They're gonna remember everything. If you could use now, that definitely would be something in another direction that would blow us away that we don't have.
EA's already demoed stuff where they're just like, where you just talk to the AI and you're like, I want to play a game that's this, and this, and it just builds the game.
Now
it's not perfect yet, but that's something they're working on.
So here's what's crazy. When I got the new phone, all the phones are going hard about AI now. Like, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna mess with it. So in my text message, I talked to Gemini, right? So then I was like, well, let me see how crazy it is. I've been watching, see the video, the guy married his AI, blah, blah, blah. So I said, Gemini, I want you to call me All-Purpose Champ. And so it was like, okay. And I said, would you like me to call you Gemini? It was like, yeah, that'd be better. So then I was like, well, how can I talk to it? Like, is there a way I could hear a voice? So then I asked it and it was like, yeah. But somebody told me it costs money. So Gemini was like, no, it's free. Just download the Gemini app. I was like, really? So now I pick up my phone and have a conversation like it was a person. I could talk fast, slow, and it hears what I'm saying and talk back. Like I'm asking it everything. I'm asking about video games, my lawnmower. I bought wheels for my lawnmower and put them on today, and they wouldn't turn once I tightened them. And I was like, Gemini, why is my lawnmower wheels not turning? It was like, oh, well, you got to check to make sure the levels and if it's touching the ground. I was like, That wasn't the case though. But
Cowboy, you know how many people are dating an AI right now?
I believe
So-
Bro,
So here,
thousands.
so I totally hear. So here's my thing. I still think. I think AI will be used as a tool to decrease costs. I think
Okay.
when you put it in a game, like just talking to it forever, right? Like maybe that's for some people, but I think to Lo-Fi, I think it then becomes like, what is the difference between a game versus a life sim?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's already a Korean version of Sims that's out, and it's pure AI,
wow.
and it's awesome. It's
I can
better than
imagine.
Sims.
I mean, now if you were into that type of game, it would take it to the next level. Just like I was saying about something like, Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, anything that has NPCs.
Mhm.
Now I don't know how cool it's gonna be because technically we don't have a way to interact with it. Like you could probably have options and choose what you choose, and then it'd be so many different things they say. But if they get to a point, now hear me out, Lo-Fi, where your microphone on a single player game, you talk to the NPC and they talk back, and you just say regular talking, like how I'm
Yeah,
talking to my Gemini. Bro, that's some next
that's gonna
level
be
stuff.
sick. Yeah,
That's
We'll
next level
see.
stuff.
We'll
that's where it's headed with these data centers. Like they're gonna have data centers all over the place. Like Rox has a huge one right now, and I don't know how ethical it all is with it. It's some problems. Like I mean, not pointing fingers at Grok, but just AI in general. I mean, people use it like it's Google, and that's a lot of electric. That takes a lot of power. You know what I mean? And not using it for things that are we're just willy nilly using it right now. It's pretty bad. But
But let me ask you this though. I just feel like same thing with cloud gaming, right? We were super into it and we thought like, dude, in the next 5 years, I feel like same thing with AI. Everybody's ramping up, but I feel like when are we gonna see something significant? Like Purple said earlier, there were certain
you're gonna
games
have
that
to pay.
came out. Okay, go ahead.
I was just saying you're gonna have to pay.
I
When
saw
it
it,
gets to
John.
that point, it's gonna cost money. It's not gonna be like.
Oh, okay, well.
But yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
We'll see. We'll see. I think right now, like I said,
It's not gonna be
the
cheap.
idea of talking to someone in gaming for a long time, like an NPC, there's like a certain way you talk to them. Like if they're talking to you forever, like, okay, there's some
Yeah.
information, but if you're talking to them a short time, usually it means like, okay, like I haven't unlocked something, right? Like games
Purple,
have like this.
just say it, Purple. Purple, just say it. You're never gonna beat that game. You're gonna constantly talking to everybody.
Yeah, like there's like a point to where like you're just talking. So I still think like, and that's where I get to. Like, are we talking about like if I wanted to talk to Beyonce's AI voice about everything,
Okay.
right? Is that a game? Like I think like now that's being blurred. That's always been like what is a game versus what's a movie, right?
I think
like,
this new generation, the thing that people aren't hitting on is they like fidget spinners. They don't want a game. They want something to fidget with and do.
Some
while they
people
hang
don't
out with
want
their
a game.
friends.
some
But you know,
people,
but you
like,
know what I'm
Well,
saying?
he
That's
he
gonna
said
be.
this generation.
I think that's where it's like.
I think, but
that's what they are gonna love.
So what I would say is I think AI will, and hey Ja, I saw it, Ja. I saw the video. So I saw you're ramping up for back to school, Ja. So awesome job coming back. Looking forward to seeing more content from you. But I would say this about AI, right? I think what it will probably do is unlock another type of gamer, right? Just
Right.
like if we went back 10 years ago or 12 years ago now,
Mhm.
and I said, hey, you have console gaming and PC gaming. Which one of these is going to be the future that drives gaming forward? And then all of a sudden it's mobile, right? Like mobile's where like all the money came in, and now you have like this whole new generation of mobile gamer and so forth. Like that's what drove it. And so I think if we think about AI, if anything, what I see is that bringing in like a different type of gamer. I don't think there's going to be like the person who likes platformers all of a sudden being like, oh yeah, let me jump my category to like talking to someone. But I do think there very well could be a gamer who's like, I like to get like, I want to be able to
Right.
create
Oh, come on, say
whatever
it on the purple.
tic-tac-toe in
Right.
space.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Yeah. So I think
There
that
goes
we'll
Sandy.
create a new gamer. I don't think it's going to be, hey, Sandy.
How you
Hi.
doing?
Or should I say, hey, Sierra? I can't see the light. The lighting's. How are you doing,
She
Sandy?
got to say hi to Sierra earlier. She's like, wait, that's Sandy. I was like, no, it's Sierra. She's like, oh, it's mini Sandy.
My mini me.
Yeah, that's what I said. So I think
I know you're trying to come pull me off of this. You ready to eat? She said 10 hours ago. Yeah, I was supposed
all
to.
right, we'll talk.
Hey,
We'll
so
talk.
Purple,
We'll
I was sitting on our chairs. So we got chairs over there, like the beach chairs. And I was just sitting there. I was like, I'm waiting for Purple because I'm jumping on. And Sandy was like, so are we trying to eat? I was like, yeah, soon. But
I
I
don't
might
want to
get
get
back
you
in
in
the
trouble. I don't want
pool.
to get in trouble with Sandy. I don't want to get in trouble with Sandy.
Yeah.
it's
But
good to
look,
chill with you,
let me say
brother.
this before I go. Listen, it's a game on mobile called Match Factory. I'm warning y'all. Don't download it because it's gonna take your life. I put so much time into this game. It's amazing. It's so addictive. It's the new Candy Crush for me.
Match
Technically,
Factory.
yes, Match Factory. Is it Match Factory? Yes, Match Factory. Yeah, Match Factory. It's amazing. Like it's the hook of it is so addictive. And so everybody in the chat, go check out Match Factory. So when you're like just bored and got nothing to do, it is the game to play.
All right.
Like,
Well, definitely too. Well, thank you, Cowboy. And
definitely.
that's all right, Cowboy. I'll see you. And I will have to. I'll watch. I watched the first full one, but I'll watch this full video.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all
Watch
right.
the actual one, and take care, Lo-Fi. Thanks for jumping on while I was on here. That's the first
Yeah,
time
bro.
I've seen Purple have two people on here.
Yeah, I don't do it. Yeah, Lo-Fi said so.
All right, later,
All right.
guys.
Later,
bro.
Cowboy. Lo-Fi, what's going on?
Not much. Just I just listening to you guys talk, and I was like, why aren't we talking? Why aren't we talking about the elephant in the
The
room?
future.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, it's more than just. To me, it's more than just NPCs interacting with you and an AI talking. Like, there's a lot of there's so much that AI could do in the abstract, for gaming, and that's what I'm thinking about. I don't see how we're not going to collide with it in a big way.
No, I think it'll be part of. So I guess the way I look at it is it's AI is a tool, right?
Yeah, I'm
And
not an advocate of AI or anything, but I'm.
you
it's-
sound like
it's
it.
super
I think I'm
obvious,
talking to an AI right now.
yeah.
No, so I think Cowboy said something kind of like interesting, right? Like cloud gaming. Like we had this idea of like cloud gaming and making games in the cloud and what it can do. And that's happening, right? But cloud is more like an enabler of gaming. And I think AI is kind of the same thing. Like we are still I
don't think AI can do everything without some form of cloud gaming, and I think we're gonna have to, like, the way we think cloud gaming works in our minds. Like, I think it will evolve, and it definitely will be a part of what's coming.
Maybe like I definitely, I mean, AI is probably already there for like test cases.
AI is basically already the same idea as
so for
Stadia. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have your own little personal Gemini in your pocket. Like, it's a data center somewhere. Like, we're all sharing it.
Correct. And so when I think about it in game, yeah, sure. So like, yes, anything that's in a data center is they're utilizing AI to make things more efficient and so forth. I think when I think of like AI in gaming, if we said that 2 years ago, like that meant something different than today, how we use AI, right? And so I could see a world where it helps people like, yo, I want to make a Roblox game. Can you do this? Blah, blah, blah. And it helps you create something for Roblox, right? A game for that. Like actually putting it into a game, like it needs an input, right? Like it needs something. Like we have to get some data from somewhere.
Well, Microsoft has an AI, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah, right? I think Microsoft's going to be.
But does Sony? And would Sony even be allowed? Like, look what they did with DeepSeek. They like banned it in the US, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it seems like an advantage. I
think Microsoft is going to be the number one leader in AI gaming just because like the video I did where I said Microsoft or Xbox is like they do everything that Microsoft wants to do. And right now Microsoft's all about AI. So of
Yeah.
course Xbox is going to do that. But at the same time, and this is if Crazy Louis is still out there, I would say that Microsoft leads gaming because they have a lot of money, not necessarily because they make the best games. And so I still think that,
it's shock and awe with them. It's not.
yeah, right. And so
It's not quality.
I still think there's a place for gaming as an art form and as a fun factor
Yeah.
that, yeah, like sure, maybe an AI game is going to take everything by storm. I still think that I actually feel like there's going to be a pretty strong pushback on AI in like the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and there should be. Yeah.
Like I think like once we start to see, I think we were talking about this after the show.
We're
maybe.
making power plants that are nuclear power plants that are specifically just for AI. Like that's all they're doing, and like so that's okay.
No, that's huge, right? That's huge. You
That's
talked about the
terrible,
heat
yeah.
sig- That's the heat signature. But also, what I look at is AI is moving so fast, and no one knows. Like everybody's like, "Oh, AI is doing this. AI is doing that. We're doing this with AI. We're doing that." But if you talk to the people who are actually doing AI, they're like, there needs
don't
to be
know.
some like structure here, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like right now, AI is advancing so fast, but it actually is replacing jobs.
Yeah.
Like those jobs aren't like, we don't have like something else for them to fall back on right now. And so like at the companies I've worked with and that my colleagues are at, instead of hiring like 6 new people, they're hiring like 2 new people. And so there's a point to where this starts adding up where people are no longer getting work. AI is doing a lot of the menial tasks. Like in the economy, it might be it's about 2 to 3 years away where I think it's going to be at this very high point where you're going to have a significant number of people unemployed for not like a 2 to 3 months. I'm talking like 2 to 3 years, right? And that's just going to continue to grow. And they're gonna start pointing towards like, well, you did all this with AI. Like, you know, how does a young person now make it into the world? Do you want them just to be repairing the robo taxi?
Right. Well, and that's where I was worried about even bringing it up because there's so much bad in it, and then there's so much unknown that we could talk about. So like I was just trying to keep it about video games and not get too political with it, but like Zelek saying over here in the chat, like that it's totally true. But I think like, and this is grim, but we're gonna get so deep that we're in a catch-22. You know, you're gonna be like, I don't want this, but people are still gonna rely on it. People are coming out saying they don't even know how to send emails or make a phone call without using this stuff anymore. Like
those people are idiots.
Reliant. Yeah,
those people are
Well,
idiots.
I mean, people are kind of idiots.
but no one said an idiot can't be the richest person in the world. So
straight up,
or president of the United States. So, but that's a different story. But with that said, I think like right now, the thing that's kind of gotten people through like the last like 10, 15 years of this mobilization, digitalization of things has been the gig economy, right? Like thinking about Lyft drivers, Uber drivers, or Amazon delivery people, or like, but if you think about it, AI and robotics, like they're going to take those jobs. You know what I mean? It's really, so like when you start to eliminate like the entire gig economy, you start eliminating like the entire, like a significant portion of the white collar job. Like think about a paralegal, right? Or think about like a lawyer's job.
There's robots that can do surgery.
Yes. So you start,
You know what I
I probably wouldn't want a robot to do surgery, but so when you start having that, there's nothing like, oh, well, these are the jobs that are being created by it. You know what I mean? Like that has not caught up. The conversation is literally
Yeah,
how
we're in a big
fast,
unknown.
what's the supercomputer? What's this?
What's a
And-
quantum computer? Good Lord.
Yeah, right. So that's where we're pushing that boundary. And now we've pushed it so far, it's a race, right? I actually think AI,
It's like the moon race.
so the
all
movie,
over.
I think, no, you want to know what I think it is? I don't see the moon race. The moon race was just a show of force.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look what we did. The actual race that I equate AI to is the race for the nuclear bomb. Because if you
Oh,
think
right,
about
yeah.
it, the person who can get to AI and quantum computing the fastest can now
He's gonna dominate.
they can now uncrypt every single secret bank password, cryptocurrency in the world. They have that power to unencrypt
In moments.
everything.
Yeah.
And if you can unencrypt everything in a world that is like fully digitalized, right? Like everybody needs like I remember in the army, we had to do land navigation. All right. You know, like using a compass, looking at a map and going from one point to another point. And this was like early 2000s, late 90s and stuff, right? Solid skill set. But then when we got deployed, like what would you use on convoys? You're not using a compass, you have like a GPS. And so now, like by the time I left the military, we were no longer teaching some of these skills. It's like teaching cursive. But
Yeah.
so now we become so dependent on all these things where we need computers. But if you have another adversary that can disrupt that, and you don't have like the people who know how to do like, okay, how
Right.
do I do this without computers? You have an immense power. And so I
You need
think
Boy
it's like there.
Scouts.
Yeah, exactly. You need, but we have this immense thing now where if whoever gets that first, it'll be like the nuclear bomb, where it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, for
if you
sure.
use it, we're going to use it. And
For sure.
that's why the United States had such a huge start post World War II, because we were the only ones with the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now what we see, not to get too crazy conspiracy theory, right? But now we see like 7 years ago, there was like a terrorist state, what we would call. Donald Trump did not bomb them. North Korea, he like high-fived the dude and so forth. Iran doesn't have a nuclear bomb, and guess what? We bombed them. So like that kind of is at stake. And so when you're now talking like China, who I actually think is ahead of us in AI, just look at what they did with what was the AI they introduced earlier this year at like a fraction of the cost of ChatGPT. It was like a fraction of the cost. They introduced it earlier this year.
Oh, China.
So yeah, China. They had like this AI, and it was probably like 95% there for what Microsoft's
talking
AI
about-
could do.
You're talking about DeepSeek. It was an open source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, DeepSeek. So like there's a point to where now, like if it gets that, if they're able to do that with like no serious resources, and people are like, oh, it cost them $1 billion. I'm like, I guarantee you it didn't cost them the 100 billion that Microsoft's thrown at it. So if they were able to do that with whatever, like, yeah, now we're in this like I said, if it's not us, it's them. And it's like almost this fear factor instead of like trying to get a hold of this earlier on to say like, okay, let's put some parameters on it. We're just rushing towards it. We're just rushing towards this situation. Like I said, I don't think it's going to take that long. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, that's like in 10 to 15 years. No, I think it's like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
hit this point to where it's like, okay, we got there. Now what do we do?
I hope the people that don't own it hold us hostage.
You said you hope they do?
I hope they don't.
That's
No,
wild.
it's,
I mean,
it's wild, man. Like we're in the future. And
we
still
are
haven't gotten the flying car.
technically in the future. We are in the future of what 1 hour ago was.
Yeah.
But no, so like yeah, so when we talk about going back to gaming, I think
let's assume that AI is good and we're all in peace and harmony and it's just about gaming. What let's go back to that.
yeah, let's go back to that. So let's go back to gaming. Like I think when we think about gaming in AI, it's a tool. Like I don't know if there's a serious use case within the game other than how to train you how like let's say you want to get
Well,
better at Mario Kart.
I think where it's going to be strong is it's going to start as a tool that people that create games use. And as it gets
Correct.
better doing that, probably integrate into the game as an NPC,
Browser.
you know, or something like that, or maybe something that controls events around you. But it's going to get to where the game engine is the AI.
Yeah, I could
That's
see
my
that. I mean,
point.
yeah,
You know
I
what
could
mean?
I could see that, right? So I could see where AI I mean, I think it's always going to be a tool. I think we see it first is like look, I'm playing Mario Kart right now, right? And I can go to the AI and say, "Hey, I want to get better at wall riding or tricking off of things in Mario
Yeah.
Kart." The AI is going to be like, "Okay, this is how you play. This is what you need to do." And it'll be like or you're a fighting game and it's going to be like, "Okay, this is how you do this better." Or it's already going to be used to give people an advantage, right? To say, "Hey, I think it's already being used like this actually, which is like, "Hey, you're this competitive shooter, you're this competitive fighting game type. Um, here's your weakness, here's your opponent's strengths," right? I think that's probably
I think it's gonna be huge in RPGs though. You know, oh, I like right now we got live service games, but like it could be like I wanna do a dungeon crawl through, you know, whatever. You set up the instance and it's like I'm tired of these dungeon walls. Well, here, go to the marketplace and buy some new dungeon wall, you know, some new dungeon assets, things like that.
yeah.
Or I mean, you could iterate on it.
No, I mean, I still think we're a little bit of ways away from like where it can actually create like the amount of data for it to create like a game. Like, I just don't think we're there. It's just a magnitude of data that we don't have. Like, think about it. Like to create text, right? That's like binomial, but gaming is like such a like three-dimensional type of
Mhm.
experience that I don't think it's there. I think it is like this, like I ask
Oh,
you
I don't think it's
this.
there, but I
Yeah.
imagine the reason I was even bringing it up to begin with you guys is because eventually, over the years, there's going to be like 50 power plants and new nuclear power plants and like data centers across the U.S. Just for AI. You know,
We'll see. So Lo-Fi, we got another guest on. If you want to stay backstage, you can. I want to bring them on because
well,
we actually have.
before I
Go ahead.
I'm going to drop my conspiracy theory for the week, and here
Okay.
it is. All right, ice skating's a myth. They just stand still. It's all camera tricks, and they just move the ice around them.
Come back. Stay around. We will discuss this. Ice skating is a myth. It's all camera tricks. I
Yeah.
want to hear more about this because I might. I don't know. I haven't thought about this one. But Lo-Fi, we're gonna come back to this. All right. All right. Take care, Lo-Fi. All right. Coming in, none other. After we have been talking about AI, we actually have AI here. Is this what's going on?
Yeah, what's happened is I'm an amalgamation of everything that's been brought past on the Shades of Purple. So there's an amalgamation. I've got a cowboy hat. I've got this. I'm speaking about anything you want. AI generated. I am not. I'm not physically here. I'm just a generation of chat.
Well, okay. Well, AI, can you let's see. Can you tell us the shades of purple that Holtz was on?
Episode 62, last episode, Shades of Purple, he was on.
Oh wow, wow! This
His best episode was the first premiere of episode 13.
oh really? Wow, wow!
See, how's that for quantum computing?
It's pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Can anyone fact check that? Because I bet I'm right.
We might have to. We have to see the source code that you're using.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
We are sponsored by Nintendo to get that code.
Okay, so AI,
Okay.
tell us what are your thoughts of the Nintendo Switch 2?
Oh, I think it's such a family-friendly device, perfect in every way, innovative, but still, retro in the same way of paying homage to the Switch handheld. I think it's an amazing device, and I can see it being leading in this handheld space for the next 8 years to come.
Really? What is, we used to have someone on here. I'm going to ask you another question from the Holtz data source. How much gaming has Holtz done on the Switch 2? And what are his favorite games?
I have done about 30 hours, not a lot in the last 2 months, but I've actually played Donkey Kong and Mario Kart, and it's a great system, familiar. It's not something that everyone should run out, but I've always said to people, do not buy consoles until 3 years until you get a solid library, because when you buy a console day one, you actually just you invested in it as a huge game, I should say, and it won't bring new gamers in. So with Mario Kart, we're familiar with it. Donkey Kong, you have to be familiar with the franchise. It won't bring any new gamers in. So I'm waiting for more exclusives like Metro Prime and stuff like that, Kirby, to come in before I could actually recommend it to anyone, should I say?
And we have both. We have a Metroid Prime coming later this year, right?
But no date. No date.
No date yet. No date. No date. But
if that was Hero Warriors, I'll be like, yeah, that was Kirby date and that was Metro Prime. I'll be doing backflips this year. But at the moment, it's just 2 exclusives. And, usually when consoles release, it's usually cross-platform in previous generations. So at the moment, I'm like, it's nice to have, but I wouldn't tell anyone to rush out and buy it at the moment.
So, but if they deliver on their idea of like Metroid Prime coming out this year, right? If let's say that it comes out November, December of this year, let's say did Kirby say they were having a game coming out?
If they release on these titles that they said, say Metro Prime, just say it was just Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and Metro Prime, this launch window, 4 or 5 months, then it'll be an amazing platform. For me, I would do just backflip for one of them games. But if it was for a huge market, I would say just wait. Just like any other console. Just like I'm not just picking on Nintendo. Just wait until the library generates for you, should I say.
So for me, I think, so the thing that I used to say this all the time. I would say this every single time up until about a month and a half ago. And people would say, hey, Purple, if Stadia came back, would you get it? And I would always say the same thing. Yeah, because Stadia answered, like the type of gamer I am, nothing has come close to what Stadia was, right? Which is I'm a flexible game. I'm a convenient gamer. To me, Switch 2 has answered that. Like the fact that like the form factor where all I have to do is set up my dock here, my dock upstairs, and I can then open it up, play on the tabletop mode. It can do all that. So for that, like I think it's cool. Like I'm playing a ton of games more than I have before. But I say it for the form factor. I say it for the convenience. If it's like just the games, I mean, there are games that I wanted to play that I didn't have, like, I just didn't find the time. I didn't prioritize it. Like, I'm like, I want to be upstairs. I don't want to be down here. Or it's like, when I want to play it, I want to play it. I don't want it to like go through stuff. That was Diablo, right? Diablo's a game like that. Dead Cells is a game like that. And so I'm finding that I'm playing more. And so for me, I think for people who are similar gamers to how I game, if gaming's meant to be fun, and if increasing your fun is a goal, then I would say I think Switch 2 is a good investment at this moment. But that's me.
When we speak of cloud gaming, especially on the Stadia point of view, I remember connecting a grip around my phone and playing just streaming games from the Chrome browser. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a great, and it didn't pick up. Sadly, we all know it didn't pick up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think people stick to what they know, what they like. So it could be, I've got a Steam Deck, I can just lean over right now and I can say, here's a Steam Deck. You know what I mean? And I think the flexibility of picking up devices is what makes people say, well, instead of booting up, wasting time, I can just pick it up, do 5, 10, 20 minutes. And over a week, it adds up. Per month, it adds up.
Yeah.
Okay. And we seen the enjoyment of this in Stadia, but I think people didn't want to waste their phone battery or understand cloud gaming when it was 2019. So they still stay true to having something that's, cloud, portable, and then you just download games on SD card or put physical. So I think these devices are still catering for everyone without pushing anyone away. Because if, say, Switch or Steam Deck or stuff like that went with removing the ability to play certain stuff, then people will start losing interest. So if a Steam Deck went with cloud only, lose interest. If a Nintendo Switch went, we're removing physical,
You'll lose some people.
You'll lose the market.
Yeah.
They'll lose the market. Well, I was a gamer who had I still got the Logitech G Cloud, and I still love it. Google, Android, I'm using YouTube and using all my apps on it and downloading from the Play Store with Play Games, and I'm also using, GeForce Now, Xbox, and it's just a great device. But people still see it and go, "Oh, it's only clouds only," and I'm like, "Well, why would I want anything else unless I'm playing first exclusives on a Switch 2 and stuff like that?"
Yeah, no, I think Switch, like, I will give, I think, the Series X can do it, PlayStation can do it, and Nintendo Switch, they give the opportunity to play them all the different ways, right? Particularly Series X and Switch have cloud capabilities. Switch is the only one that's portable, has also physical. I think they all have their selling points. It just depends on how you want to game. And that's how I look at it. But as far as go ahead.
What I love is how everyone's copied suit. People didn't want this hybrid portable approach. They didn't care about the flexibility of going from TV to portability mode. And now everyone's just following suit. And he laughed at the Switch, just as he laughed at other stuff, but everyone's seeming to be catching up on the gaming. So the PC market's going, "Oh, I want handheld," and this person's going, "Well, I want this and I want that," and we're just in a stale place at the moment. But it's a good space to be in. But when it comes to where you're going to put your money it's still a confusing space, you would say, because we can't afford every device.
No, I think you're right. And Cowboy, I think there's more outrage about people getting up. So we did a poll about 3 weeks ago. Rouster or Ambi would have to double check me on this. Zalek was probably there. Crow was there. We did a poll and we asked, like, who cares about physical, right? It was 100% people said they didn't care about physical. And so I think there's more people who claim to be upset about it. Don't get me wrong, there are some physical gamers out there, but I think true physical gamers know that if they want the physical edition of the game, they can get it. All they have to do is wait a little bit, and they're going to get it. Hey, Granite, what's going on? I think Granite was there too. We were asking. And so that's why I think that where people are like, oh, we don't have physical, like Steam doesn't have physical, but you don't see this outrage at Steam. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
My problem is I was all down for digital since the early 2000s. So the launch of Steam, I was there in the cloud. I was there for the flexibility of sharing libraries through digital. I loved streaming services like Spotify and Netflix. But as they become more constraining, removing stuff or constraining family sharing or constraining or inserting product placements and advertisements and data privacy, the more I've started going, ooh, maybe I should accept physical as a platform.
Yeah.
Because it's being, and years ago I'd be like, oh, of course, digital's the way. It's more convenient. But now once I start to hear like data privacy and consuming what you're doing, I'm like, okay.
Well, I think so. My thing is, by the Switch having the Switch is the only gaming console that can say this right now, which is every single one of their consoles or devices that they've launched comes with the ability to play physical, right? If there's a physical game that's built for it, it can play. The Switch, the only one can say that. Xbox can't say that, right? Series S doesn't have physical. PlayStation Digital, the one I have, doesn't have physical necessarily. You can buy the attachment. And so, to me, there is a market, and I've talked about this. I should probably bring them on Shades of Purple one day, which is like the games. I Am 8-Bit, Limited Run. There's a whole slew of them. Their whole thing is building physical. And I think that is going, like, people who want physical should look there. Because I do think it's still going to be a medium for people to use. As long as there is a place to play physical, there will be an industry to build physical.
Well, the problem that I've got with digital is that it hasn't downgraded the price.
Hold on. What did you say? Hold on.
Original game. And that's what I'm starting to see now, where I'm like, oh, God, I used digital.
So give me an example.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, now I do.
So we used to have physical games where we could keep the game in its original format.
Correct.
Right? We could resell and I overlooked that value because I thought digital was here to stay, and it offered me a big, huge family library of sharing. Now, since they constrain the family sharing and they've constrained sharing a digital license or passing a digital license to a game card, then I've started realizing, well, we should have stuck to physical. You see what I'm getting at? So even though I wanted convenience in digital, part of me is like, well, over the years, I've enjoyed it 10, 15 years, but we shouldn't overlook having the physical. So I think gaming should keep physical and digital alive for the flexibility. And if you remove one, it's going to hurt the other, should I say.
So I think I feel like the digital game card is an experiment, right? Like I think, Nintendo offers that. Nintendo's first party isn't going to be a digital game card. We saw Cyberpunk wasn't a digital game card. There's a couple of others that are not digital. And then there's some companies that are like, hey, we're going to give this digital game card a try. I still, like I said, believe that as we start to go, Lo-Fi and I were just talking about this, right? This world of this privacy and digitalization, and potentially you don't want to be online. You will see a resurgence of physical. Like there's just that's going to be a thing where people are like, I want to play and I don't want anybody to see like how I'm playing. I think you are going to see that kind of gain starting to become a thing again. And if you're like, you don't even have to be over the age of 40, like 45. You could be like over the age of 35 or 40. You remember when you were a kid, we had what? We had records. Like, I still remember records. I remember when CDs weren't a thing. I remember when like the cassette was not like, it was like, oh, we have to change everything to the cassette. But then what do you see? Like, even though records have been surpassed, Ambi would argue with me on this one, but records have been surpassed as like a medium to store data, they're coming back, right? They're coming back for a different reason than I think physical gaming is going to come back. But as again, I think the fact that Nintendo Switches have the ability to play physical, there will always be companies who are saying, hey, could you license me out the game and I will put it on physical, means that it will happen. It just may not happen day and date. That's my thing.
I can't stand how developers are using these key cards to overset their costs. So they go, okay, I'm going to put on a lower storage device and then you download it. I hate the idea of that, because it's like, you should just cough up and pay for your storage that you need. End of. Right? Then any of the DLC and expansion, then you download. I'll accept that. But then I'm like, because you're not offsetting the costs to anyone but the consumer. And it's like, you're starting to say to us, first we need a physical card, then we need a memory card and stuff like that. And I think it's like, oh my God, it's just a huge much demand. Keep it simple. Go all digital, or just keep a hybrid approach, but you offset the costs on your behalf.
I think so. Like, but I think that's what's happening.
So I've heard like Nintendo's trying to explain to people, do you understand key cards? And I think everyone's like, no. But does not understand the consumers are not developing it, and I think it's just like.
Well, the game key card. So I think Nintendo tried to make this hybrid digital physical, right? Like I said, I think Nintendo tries. I'm not mad with them for trying it, because one of the arguments against digital was we can't trade it in. The game key card allows you to trade it in, right? But at the same time, you still have to download the rest. So this is, y'all, if y'all don't know, Nintendo Switch 2 has a thing called the digital game key card, which is a physical cartridge that you put in, but you have to download the game. It gives you basically a key to download the game, and that's always going to be with that physical cartridge. And then they give you the ability to trade it, right? Like I think what Nintendo is doing, like, okay, like if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use that feature, right? But where people, I think, miss this, and I continue to say this, is that physical games mostly now are being developed not by the original developer and not by the home platform. Like, there's a one time where every NES game was like up to Nintendo standard, like Nintendo manufacturer. You gave Nintendo the code, Nintendo put it on their proprietary cartridge, or you had that, and then you went there. Now there's like a third company, right? There's developers who are solely there to port the game to physical, and so that's what I keep saying. That's my pushback against everybody who's saying, oh, physical, Nintendo's killing physical, or Xbox is killing physical. They're not making. It's like, no, there's this other company that's doing that. And if you want it, then you're going to pay for it.
It's a shame that's going higher and higher. There's no difference in price to offer. So digital is just as much as physical these days. And you go,
depends. Zalik just said it's not. She said physical is $30 cheaper than digital.
It depends what client you're using or what service. So on the Nintendo point of view, go and try and get a Mario Kart the same price. Some stores will just offer this. Some might give you store discounts. Some might give you trades in, whatever. There's alternatives, but if you just went to a store day one and bought a physical and digital, usually the same price. if you're mentioning Steam or other grey websites, then yes, it could be argued. But from a Nintendo point of view, it's probably a few dollars cheaper. It's not $30 by any means. You know, I would love to pick Mario Kart for $50, for example, if I walked into a store right now. It wasn't bundled. Donkey Kong, $30 cheaper. So imagine Donkey Kong, would you say it's $70 now? $70, $60?
Donkey Kong's 80 here.
80, so $80. So can I walk into Walmart and get it for $50? That would be a big help. It's not.
It's more expensive, right? Like that's everything though, isn't it? Everything, if you could get it for 3/8 of the price cheaper, it's better, no?
Yeah. So when people sit there and say, "Oh, you can get a physical game cheaper," it's not always the case. It's like Donkey Kong.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's roughly so close to the digital that you think to yourself, well, shouldn't digital be cheaper than physical? Or shouldn't you give us alternative approach? If we resell, like if I bought a game key card digitally, then you should give me say you pay me full price, but then I should lose value if I wanted to trade it in. Because there's a digital market there. So then a digital market has a digital store. And depending how many people are reselling, you use exactly the same as what physical storefronts do. One minute it increases, 1 minute it loses, depending on whatever.
I see. I mean, I see what you're saying. I generally tend to think that if a company was to release a physical game, I generally think physical costs more. Like what you're getting right now at the digital price is the base price of the game. And that they're selling physical at if they are launching it day and date, I think the profit margin is lower. But they don't charge you that. It's not like they're going to say, "Oh, we're making 20% profit margin on the digital and only 10, so therefore we're going to increase the price by another 10%. I don't think that's
so. Who's making the loss? Would you say it's the physical storefront that's making the loss? So they buy so many games from like Nintendo or the distributor, and they make a loss putting on their shelves, but they still make $2, $3, $4.
Who's this?
Who makes the loss when it's physical?
I'm saying like it depends on who does it, right? Like I think for a publisher traditionally to do a physical game, the publisher most likely is going to take a bigger hit from if the publisher. So let's use an example here, right? Let's say let's use Little Nightmares, right? I know all the people involved with this. Tarsier Studios is the one who initially did Little Nightmares, and you have Bandai Namco as the publisher, right? That's Little Nightmares. If Bandai Namco is to tell Tarsier Studios to make a physical copy of the game, Bandai Namco is taking is taking less profit from the physical than the digital. That's what I'm saying.
So Bandai Namco publishes a game. They've got a distributor that takes a cost, and the distributor distributes it to a storefront, and a storefront takes a cost put on the shelves. Right? Compared to if it was digital, the publisher would get more money, but would pay the digital storefront 30%.
Correct.
So when you consider 30% as a digital storefront, is that the same cost as just including a distributor and a physical storefront, or is it more than 30%?
It's more, because like when you make a physical game, and this is why you now see publishers give the game to someone else to make, right? Because in order to make the physical game, if it is up to the publisher and Tarsier Studios, now Tarsier Studios has to hire an entirely different skill set than just building the game, right? Building the physical game, if you think about it, just from everybody always talks about the physical cartridge. Physical cartridge at the end of the day is like pennies on the dollar. It's not that much. But you still need someone to port it there, and you still need to do testing on that card. So you're now doing a whole nother round of testing on that to make sure it fits right and that you're able to do everything right. But the entire operation of distributing that is another type of person. And so, like, that's why it becomes more expensive. It's layers upon layers upon layers of another business model.
So adding the layers of a distributor and a physical storefront, would you say that would lead to 30% or higher than 30%?
Higher than 30. Higher.
50%? Where would you put the ballpark in?
I think it depends, because here's the other thing that we're not talking about, right? And this is, how many games do you make? What retailers do you give it to you?
Okay, so say it's high demand, say it's a Grand Theft Auto 6, does that get a different privilege than something else?
Yes.
That only will sell.
Yes. If you have a game like Grand Theft Auto 6, which you're saying you're estimating is going to sell 50 million copies. And you know, out of 50 million copies, you can say, like, right now, 2% of gamers care about physical. Oh, of course. Okay, we make 1 million copies. But then when you're looking at right now, games are struggling to break the 3 to 5 million barrier, right? We have the ones that are breaking out. You're now going to have a whole distribution for what? For like 20 to 40,000 physical copies. And where are these 20 or 40?
So who takes more of the hit, the distributor or the physical store, when you're considering like the likes of Grand Theft Auto 6?
The distributor is the physical store.
Do they No, did it? I thought like you got the publisher and the distributor like will sell it off to the stores, or is the store the distributor? So like we talk about GameFly, Walmart,
Game Pass, Walmart, they're the distributor. So Game Pass and all those people are going to buy. You thought there's a middleman between them?
I thought there was some logistics in between that goes, okay, you are the publisher of the game. Sony goes, okay, we're liaising onto our business franchise, and they will distribute the game across many storefronts like Walmart and Game.
Yeah, so traditionally, how it was, so you're not wrong. Traditionally, how it was done is you would have had Sony, Nintendo, you would have had the publisher take that on to say, like, we are going to distribute it to everybody else. So now you have two different cost structures, one for the physical game, one for the digital game. And you're saying for the digital game, it's a 30% hit to Steam or to the Xbox store, to COG or whoever, right?
Yes.
And you're trying to say, hey, is the distribution per game more expensive than that 30%? And what I'm saying is it's a unnecessary cost to them. There's a point to where, yes, it is. And so that's why they no longer even do that. They give it to someone who's more specialized in physical. And they're the people who will say, okay, we already have the relationships with Target, Walmart, GameStop. Like, if you notice, you can only get physical at certain stores now, unless it's like trade-in or something else, or you go to the website, because they're constantly. Go ahead.
When it comes to Walmart and Target, if they say we're going to price match or lower the price, they're losing their value, aren't they? They're losing a bit of value in their stock.
Correct.
Or do they compromise by saying we're a bigger demographic and area, and they say to Nintendo, we want a less cost to distribute? I don't know how it would work, but I assume they don't want to lose their profits, but they know that if they've got a bigger store, they can mass produce it, mass sell it to other people. So
yeah,
that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. So granted,
but I guess a few pennies.
Yeah, it just comes down to where it doesn't. So I think you have to. There is a element of risk that we're not talking about that costs money, right? So we're assuming in a perfect world where I created the physical and all the physicals I created sold. Like that is a perfect scenario. I have created 10,000 physicals, the 10,000 sold, and now I can measure how much did these physicals, how much was that entire process versus the digital process. In a perfect world, if you have the exact number of people who are going to buy something versus the number of people who are going to, versus how many you make, yes, you can game the system to where you're like, let me make these as efficient as possible. Right?
Now, another question is, can Walmart and Target sell back or refund hardware in games? If they ordered 1 million copies, can only sell 500,000, can they sell back to the publisher the other 5,000?
No, it's already done. It's already
It's already,
done. So
it's done, but no refund. That's it. If you've
no,
ordered
they bought it. They've already bought it from the publisher, and now they're holding the stock. And so then what they will do most likely is then once they don't sell it, then they'll sell it to someone else like a Newegg or someone else. You know, they'll sell that stuff. That's just like any other retail operation, right? They'll sell it to some other distributor to try to recoup some of that cost. But from a game theory perspective, like they wouldn't drop it. Like the reason why companies don't drop the price and they try to keep it all straight is just simple game theory. Because if we start to all drop it, we're going to just keep dropping it until none of us make a profit. And so like there's kind of this collusion of sorts.
I was assuming like if Target went, we've got X amount of games, hardware, and we're going to make X amount of profit. And then they could say, okay, we've put it in our stores, lost the value because we lost store space, but then we sell it to Newegg. And we go, okay, we're losing our profit, but we're still making 2% instead of 15%, 30%, for example. And they go, it just keeps on bleeding down until you're in the bargain bin. That's why is that correct in the assuming?
Yeah, I mean that's essentially, but you created so much value from that, though, right? I think from an economist, so I'm about to get really nerdy with y'all. From an economist's perspective, would love to see that happen because of how much value that's created. Like how much actual transfer of money that has done. It's like the used car analogy. A car that's like $20,000 actually is worth like $100,000 to the economy because of what you just said. It keeps getting sold, it keeps going, it gets sold. But what happens is with physical is that you start to have the Xbox One problem or the Xbox One problem, where you just have so many cartridges out there that there is no value to it, that you can buy them at 50 cents to the dollar. And so now you have to start to think about the other costs that has created, such as like the e-waste cost and everything else. So to answer your question, I think instead of having to deal with all that, right, what game companies have said is, we are going to make the digital and charge 30% because that's a lot easier math. I don't need a whole team to do logistics. But can y'all still hear me? I'm not sure if y'all can hear me. Okay. So, yeah. But for physical, we're going to take 3%. Someone's going to pay us 3% to put the game, to use our IP, that's all the game is a code, to use our IP and everything else. And they're going to figure out the digital and the physical distribution and whatnot. And that's traditionally what goes on now. And then that other company, they're going to say, hey, for us to do all this, we can do this at the cut that whatever the store is trying to charge. So theoretically, does Walmart take a 30% cut to Granite's point? I think that's what your question was, Granite. Do they don't, because physical, usually like retail stores usually only make about, depending on the retail store, traditionally it's like a single digits profit margin. So they're making less profit. And that's unless you're talking about a premium, very premium product, which gaming for the most part, it's going to depend on the game. But Granted said, as a consumer, let me start doing this. It's a lot easier for me to read these over here. As a consumer, I benefit when the physicals don't sell because those 70%, yes. Yes. Whereas you don't get those with the digital as quick. Yes, you're right. This is true. And then let me get Granite's other one. Roster agrees. Stale physical on the shelves costs opportunity because if they had something else to put on that shelf. Exactly. So that's why there's the inherent risk, the opportunity. There's a lot of things that's why they're shrinking that thing. And now to get physical, you're basically, stores only carry so many, and they're usually only carrying the established franchises. It's a safer bet. And then, yeah.
Do publishers put clauses into their games by saying to a storefront, okay, we want this game on your storefront, but then the digital storefront goes, okay, but you can't reduce the price of this game for 4 months. So we want 30% of a full price game. And then you can lower the price depending how you want to take. Well, I still want 30%. So then they go 30% $80 for 4 months on the storefront. Then they take 30% of $60, and then if you drop it down again and again and again. Do you think there's a clause in place for the storefront to say you can't reduce your price too much?
No, because the storefront doesn't care. The storefront is always good.
So if a game was $80, say a Ubisoft game, and then it dropped to $10 within a month, I think that would be a waste of the digital storefront's time to market it, should I say. Is there a clause in place to say this is the value of gaming and you're not going to reduce that price for 4 months?
It's actually the opposite. It's the opposite. So I'll tell you the situation I had. Like when I know this from Nintendo's point of view. Okay. Nintendo told me I had a game, like, right, the game I was going to buy, the title, one of the marquee games I was going to port over. The game costs $20. Okay. And when I was going to put it on Nintendo's storefront, they told me you cannot put that game on our storefront unless you're going to reduce the price by 60%. And I said, well, why is that? Because I would have thought exactly what you just said. I would have thought that, hey, they want to make the bigger cut. But that's not their thing. Because you think, what is a digital storefront? What is the value of a digital storefront? A value of a digital storefront is that there are games there that entice people to come in. And if you're there to buy one game, you're most likely going to buy another game. That's how every store works.
So $20, reduce $60. They wanted you to sell it for $8, and then they took 30% of $8.
Yes.
That's what I'm assuming?
Yes. Because they felt like at the end of the day that if I sold it at full price, potentially I would have saw, like, let's just throw a number out, like 20,000 sales in the first year. However, if I sold it at $8 and then at a holiday sale at for $5, they're now like, oh, you can sell like 200,000 of these. And they would rather you have sales that entice people to stay there and buy than you now have this game that just launched at $20. That's an older game. It's all about having flow of traffic of people who are willing to not just buy your game, but that's how a digital storefront thinks, is that they're always going to take 30%.
So
but
they would have made for $20 sale, they would have made like $6.66. And they're saying sell at $8 and we'll make 30%, which would be a lower cost to them, but they're still making something, aren't they? So
because they think they can make, because the price elasticity doesn't work the same. Like you would think me selling 20,000 copies at the full price and then me dropping it by 60%, theoretically now I have to sell 3 times as many copies, right? So, or not even that. You have to sell but it doesn't work like that. The full price, the way it works is because of the willingness to pay, you have so many more people whose price point is at $5 versus $20 for that game. So they're like, you can sell 200,000 copies of that game for $5 versus selling 20,000 copies of that game for $20. It's all about the sheer volume of people who are willing to pay a certain price for a game.
Hmm.
So
I'm
like,
like, I would have thought like they would have just accepted that idea and just like a physical storefront would say, okay, we're taking this cost and putting this, and that's the end of it. And if they go,
no.
okay, a publisher goes, okay, we're going to sell the game to you for $20, then you take 40 extra $20 for distribution, and you go, but then you put in your storefront, you take the additional 60% because it's on your store. I would have thought it would be an opposite of digital. I would have thought you go, okay, but the storefront
Exactly.
does sort of assist you in saying, no, that's not how it's not going to work. We take our 30 no matter what price you want to aim at it.
Yeah, what the storefront is because they're always taking 30. They want the higher volume. They would rather it's the question I asked before. I asked this question before one time. Would you rather want one person to spend $1 million on a game or 1 million people spending $1 on a game?
Okay, well, this is the issue, isn't it? It's like, because you wouldn't want one person buying 1 million, but if you bought 1 million games of 1 million, it's 2 million buying $1, then you got 2 million.
Exactly.
Instead of the
Exactly.
person that's
So
just
from a
taking the.
storefront
Yeah.
point of view, if I can bring in, but it's the same logic. Yeah, I just use extremes to show how.
Yeah, okay. Then extremes, games that went to $80. Why aren't the publishers saying, okay, I'm on a digital storefront, I'm going to do 60 because people are not willing to pay 70 or 80 or $100. So let's keep it low and we will possibly sell more games because we keep our prices low than trying to recoup that
So
20.
now here is where you're asking a great question. And this is why no one can crack what Nintendo's cracked, right? Out of all the publishers, they're all envious. Only a few companies can do this. Just like, and I'm going to use another company to show you the exact opposite problem that they have versus Nintendo. Let's use Microsoft. Microsoft has trained its customer base to buy things on Game Pass. Yes, I understand people buy things on Game Pass and Xbox games, but Microsoft has trained their customer base to mainly want Game Pass. So what that means is Microsoft, their whole premium is built on subscription. They can't price stuff at premium. Nintendo has the opposite problem or the opposite opportunity. Nintendo's trained everybody to say, if you want this game, it is going to always be at this price, 50, 60, 70, whatever it is. And therefore people see it as almost as a premium. It's literally that it has nothing to do with graphics, has everything to do with what people place the value in the fact that they do not think they're going to get a sale on that. So Nintendo can gradually raise the price because they understand their demographic, that there's people who are like, that's the price of it. However, other gamers, if I was to talk about, I'm going to use Xbox again, let's use Doom. Doom just came out. But if you were to buy Doom, I guarantee you it's already went on sale because they've trained consumers to think that eventually it declines in sales. And so it's all about Nintendo maintaining the premium where others can't.
I think what Xbox done was they evaluated saying an average gamer pays for 2 games. One sports game and Call of Duty, for example. And say it came averagely at the time, $120. Then they go, okay, as long as we sell you a subscription for extra $40 per year, just round that up or whatever, then we've got more money. Even though you haven't got time to pay for them games, then they argue and say to the disputers and the publishers, sorry, that this is your cut for being on our storefront. So Microsoft sort of win because they've got you to pay a third game on their platform.
Yes.
That's why I assumed was happening. They were getting you to play more games on their platform.
Yeah, what Microsoft did is essentially Microsoft saw that people were playing 3 games a year and buying X amount of games a year. And so what they figured out, others tried it, but Microsoft's the only one who's actually done it, is they said, if we give you a subscription and that subscription has 2 of the games that you would have normally bought, but a bunch of others, and potentially 2 of the games But 2 of the games you wouldn't have bought, we won't put on the subscription. Now we can get it both ways, because now we can get the amount of money you're initially going to spend plus some more, plus you're going to pay premium for that other title.
Plus, you haven't got the option to resell them. So if I bought Call of Duty Day One, and then I resell it 4 months later, they took away the ability and said, "Okay, well, you're not reselling it, so we're not at a loss." So we got another gamer to join them, subscribe, and that helps us. You know, you've got a friend who wants to play the game and play the game, where you would have traded or swapped and it recoup costs that way as well. So, where strangely Nintendo seems to just have nostalgia in their prices and don't seem to drop.
Yeah, no, Nintendo has their games. If you think about it, Nintendo supports their games longer than anybody, for the most part, as a broad thing. Nintendo not only has nostalgia, but Nintendo, if you're introducing your kid to a game or you want them to get in, Nintendo has that. It's like Disney. It has characters. It has characters you can relate to. And then, but that's why Nintendo, from a purely business standpoint, out of all the major publishers, Nintendo's probably the one that has the biggest opportunity for growth right now, because of their more powerful console. They now can potentially maintain the lifetime of the gamer longer, the gaming lifetime longer.
So is Nintendo lose the value by offering Nintendo Switch Online with retro gaming from past consoles? Or are they actually making more money by saying, "Here's a service"?
Making tons of more money, because they're saying, "Here's how are you?" They weren't monetizing that IP before.
Okay.
The fact that Nintendo, if you think about it, when you stream on Nintendo, you're for the most part utilizing a very small amount of data, right? When you stream Super Nintendo games, extremely small, versus when we would stream on Stadia, like Cyberpunk. The amount of data is like 200th of it. Therefore, the cost of that data is like a 200th of it. You know what I mean? So it's like a very all they're doing is like they're making money off of that. And it's just voice over IP, the other stuff they're doing. Sorry, Holtz, I can't hear you. Oh, did I lose Holtz? Can y'all hear Holtz? Or is it just me? I can't hear Holtz, y'all. I was talking. Is it just me, or can y'all hear him? Holtz, say something. I can't hear him. It could be mine. Zayla can't hear him. So he's gonna probably come in and out. And Zayla, I would pull up your thing, your picture, but I am streaming from my hotspot, and therefore I don't have as much data as I like. I'll try to pull it up. It may crash my system. This is tricky. All right, hold on. All right, hold on. Hey, Holtz. I can't. Yeah, you just went out. I don't know why. Did you look at the settings? Is it still your phone? And you didn't push a button that says mute or anything like that? Because it just all of a sudden we could hear you, and then it just muted you. Oh man, I'm not as good as I used to be at reading lips. Let's see if he can come back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What was that?
I think because I got my thumb and palm when you just said have I pushed the button, I assume because I'm on mobile, I've just hit something like. So I'm laughing, going, "Oh, we know how these technical issues. We're professionals, we understand." I actually hit the mute by accident.
Yeah. All right. So what were you saying?
So, do you think it's better for Nintendo to enhance their games on NSO instead of creating remasters? So they go, let's put Mario 64 or Mario Kart and we'll extend it to online play instead of remastering game and creating it as a classic collection. Do you think it's better for them?
I think they do both.
Because
I think
I want them. I wouldn't want them to put like say Twilight Princess and stuff like that on NSO and then they bring enhanced edition for Switch 2. I'd be very upset. It's either or. Focus on.
No, they're gonna do both. They're gonna do both.
Focus on populating the service, and then like what Microsoft's doing. Microsoft's going, okay, we will put backwards compatible and we'll extend it through our family devices. And if you own that game, we'll try and add as much longevity and enhancements as we.
No, they're gonna do both. They're gonna do both.
The game.
That's because that's you, right? You're someone who owned Mario Kart 64, and you're like, I have Mario Kart 64. You should enhance it to Mario Kart 6400 on Switch 2. But the new gamer isn't. That's not their model. Like it doesn't make sense for them to do that. But they do something different, right? They say here's Mario Kart 64, but here's Mario Kart World. They keep evolving the IP. Like the best example I can give of something where they did what you just said was the Zelda Link's Awakening, right? Is that the one that came out on Switch like about a few years ago? Like it's the one with the bird at the end. No, it's Skyward Sword. It's like Link's Awakening. I'm pretty sure it's Link's Awakening.
Wasn't Link's Awakening the top down?
It's the one that just came out on Switch, not Tears of the Kingdom, not Breath of the Wild. It's the one that came out on Switch like 2 years ago.
Oh, Link's Awakening, because it wasn't Zelda. I think it's a Zelda game.
No, it's not. It's not a Zelda one. It's like it's a Link one. It's one where you're playing Link, and the game has been they remastered it.
Yeah, be Link's Awakening.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example where you can play the old Link's Awakening, or they can redo the new one, which is basically a remake. Which,
if that's the case, then I wouldn't mind releasing a game like they done with Halo. You have the classic game, and then you got the reskin of the game, or the remaster of the game, and you just toggle between the two. I'd rather them sell a game than actually having the old classic game on NSO, and then you've just remastered the game.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's what they do. Like, all I can tell you is what Nintendo does. Nintendo knows they know their gamer well, and they know they are always going to, because if they screw up and they have nothing else to fall back on. So they have to like try to squeeze it. Everybody's upset with Nintendo because of this. But from Nintendo's perspective, like, you know, outside of the Mario Kart movie in Nintendo world, they live and die by their games.
No, I don't have a problem with Nintendo doing that, because as long as they keep a premium product, right?
Yeah,
that's all that matters. People run out and buy Apple phones because they assume it's a premium device. Apple's captivated on this premium experience, and Nintendo's just done it longer. So I feel like as long as you keep up that value of premium, then you're doing great. You know, what's the problem?
So I think this is why. I mean, I talked about this maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I forget. I think it was with Ambi or someone, or maybe it was with Rouser and Wit. But to me, if you're going to deal with a big company, you have to pick like the evil you're willing to live with. And I think with Nintendo, I'm willing to live with the premium pricing, and I mean that by like premium, like they keep the price the same because it works. Like I know Mario Kart works. You know, like it came out and there was no real bugs. Like they've changed some stuff, but it works. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom works. The Switch 2 works. My voice chat works. My camera works. It like always, and it's simple. And I'm okay with that. But when I go somewhere else and I'm paying a premium product and it's not a premium experience, that frustrates me. But I understand.
Well,
Yeah, go
my
ahead.
problem with Nintendo Switch was not going forward with exclusives and new infrastructure. It was that how they merged the old infrastructure with the new infrastructure, and we've never seen other consoles do that. Usually, you've got your licenses on your PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, whatever, and we've never seen a new device that goes, okay, you've got that license, we've merged all your home devices in, then you ask for permission to license out that game to your family. That's the only problem that I had. But I found a way around it.
I'm glad you. How was your way around it?
My way around it is day one, Switch 2, release date. I took my Switch 1 offline. So I had one Switch that had all my libraries of 100 games, and I just never updated it and put it on airplane mode. Never reconnected to the internet. So it's just at the moment set as a primary device till the expiry of Prime, the primary device. The second device, I only installed online games. And I went, I'm never going to touch them online games again for Switch 1. And then when Switch 2 came out, it asked me, have you got connectivity with your original device? And I went, no. And he went, all your licenses will be removed if you accept. And I went, yes. And then Switch 2 just connects to my secondary device, but my other device is just offline, removed, not connected, and just forgot about. The licenses still play. Same what I done with PlayStation 3 days. And
Well, if you got if you got the work, I mean, I think we'll see how this goes. Like, I think this is the early part of their generation, and
but there's got to be a time window like the PlayStation 3 done. It does 12 so many months, and then the license expires while connecting to the internet. So, it's just a point where I'm just saying to my family members, get used to it until you get a Switch 2, and then we create a library, and then we have like 6 members on NSO. Then, but at the moment, it's too much for telling my family members
yeah,
to go.
no, that's fair. That's fair. But I'm glad you all have a workaround, and you have about 10 months to.
Yeah, and it's just a thing ready to transition. So, I always say to people, we'll get a device 3 years in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but at the moment, my Switch 2 library consists of Mario Kart and Donkey Kong. Once we start adding like Hyrule Warriors and Kirby and Metro Prime, then we're on a winning formula in the first year.
Yeah, I mean,
So.
they can deliver it. So far, they're supposed to. They're saying they're going to deliver all of those by December.
It'll be a great approach for Switch.
If they could do
really
it,
would. For me personally, you know what I mean. For me, have a Metro Prime is a winner. Hyrule Warriors.
No, I am a big fan of. I think I was on when it came out. I was talking to Zarina, and I think the Hyrule Warrior games are really good. Like the backstory they provide is phenomenal. At least the first one. I don't know what the second one's gonna do, but I thought they added a lot of depth to the characters, and I'm not a Dynasty Warriors type, but it did a really good job with that.
We're on the third, aren't we? We had one Age of Calamity, and
I thought Age of Calamity was the first one. Hey, Paul, how are you, Paul?
Age of Calamity is the second one. Oh, the first two is Breath of the Wild, and
Breath of the Wild, Age of Calamity that's the first one, and then you have
It's-
the Tears of.
no, there's Hyrule Warriors, and then there's
I thought
Age of
Hyrule.
Calamity.
I thought
There's
Hyrule
two.
Warriors was Age of Calamity. The first Hyrule Warriors was.
No, the previous one before that.
Yeah,
You have to ask
chat.
the chat.
I would look it up. I would look it up, but I don't want my
sure we're on
computer because I don't want to overload my hotspot.
I think we're on the third one. We're on 2 Breath of the Wild. You know, 1 focus on the main timeline. Second one is the spin-off, and then this Hyrule Warriors focus on Tears of the Kingdom. That's if I remember correctly, or
I thought Hyrule Warriors was the alternate timeline where the Sheikah Slate goes in the past, or the egg thing goes in the past, and that's the timeline, right? And then it happens, and then you have this alternate universe type of situation.
So I thought we had the champions first, Hyrule Warriors, and then the second one we had the alternative champions, and then we had.
All right, later, Zalek. Someone's gonna have to look this up. No, I thought the first. What happens is you may be thinking of the DLC for Breath of the Wild.
No, I'm pretty sure we're on the third Hyrule Warriors. I think that's what I remember.
No, I thought Hyrule Warriors. I
Mm-hmm.
thought Hyrule Warriors is you have this fight going on with the original champion. I don't want to ruin the game, but I'm going to ruin the game. You have this fight going on with the original champions, and then the new champions come and help save the day by the end of it.
That's Age of Calamity.
That's the same one.
That's Age of
It's the
Calamity,
same one.
No, there's not a Hyrule Warriors 1 and then Age of Calamity and then
Someone help us. How many is there? A Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, and then there's this third one, or is it just Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity? So, chat, you're gonna have to help us out. This is a Zelda, Hyrule Warriors. Like, if someone's out there, like I said, I would look it up. The one time I really need to look something up. 2 games, Hyrule Warriors and Hyrule. So Ambi's saying it's 2 games. Hold on one second.
My Switch is usually
the new one is 3. What? Wait. Okay. So let me hold on 1 second. Chat, hold on 1 second. 1 second, because 1 second. Okay, I had to go. Okay, so I've never played Hyrule Warriors then. I've only played this one. I've only played Age of Calamity. So I have physical, we were talking. I've only played this one. I don't know what Hyrule Warriors is.
Yeah, because Breath of the Wild came out launch date. Then Hyrule Warriors came out like 2 years afterwards, and then 2-3 years after that, Age of Calamity came out. And it's sort of
what is happening what's happening in Hyrule Warriors?
Hyrule Warriors starts like the sort of dimensional bridge where it's like the champions focus with Link in like this. Then the second one, Age of Calamity, focus on the second champions coming in.
Yes, that's what this one is.
So Age of Calamity and Hyrule Warriors focus on a different spin of Breath of the Wild, and then this one, the third game, Hyrule Warriors,
follows Zelda when she goes back in time.
Yeah, so it'll be sort of they're all what Zelda doesn't go back in time or branches off anyway, and it'll be an alternative story from Tears of the Kingdom.
But this one is an alternative story to Breath of the Wild.
So one is Hyrule Warriors, the alternative story from Breath of the Wild, and Age of Calamity follows a different timeline
So
to
the first Hyrule Warriors has
Warriors.
nothing to do with Breath of the Wild.
Oh. No, it's sort of a spin-off event. It's like Doc Brown says, we went back in the DeLorean and created a fraction in time
Okay.
in 1985.
So then that makes
you know,
sense. Because if Paul is saying it's a Wii U game that got ported to the 3DS and then ported to Switch, then I wouldn't have played this one, right? Because then the one I played is this one, right? It says Age of Calamity. This is the one I'm familiar with.
No, because Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game and a Switch game, so that's the catch. It's like it was an expansion game between the two generations of consoles.
All right.
And then
Obviously,
Hyrule
I've not played the
Warriors
original Hyrule Warriors. I played Age of Calamity, and I think this one adds a lot of great backstory.
So my girl is Mipha. I love playing
Mipha's
Mipha.
great.
You know and you know she's my main character. And then Link's cool. You know what I mean? You know you're used to his abilities, but Mipha's my girl with the sort of trident.
No, my players are I only played Age of Calamity. I don't know what's in the first Hyrule Warriors, but obviously Urbosa. Gotta go with my cousin Urbosa. You know, and then I have to go with what's
Perfect Comic-Con.
I may try to do Versa one of these days, but and then what's her name? Zelda's friend, the one who's the scientist. Impa. Yeah. I like Impa. Those are my two characters. I love those two. If I need a little bit more of if I need to be more agile to get up and down the battlefield faster, I'll do it with Impa. If I need more like just to fight like more power, then I'll go with Urbosa.
That's why I love Mipha, because she can also that water dash.
Good.
So I just bounce off stuff and I just get it to the location.
She's good, especially when you have to do the fast ones. I mean, but like I said, I haven't played the first one. I played the second one, so everything I'm going to talk about is from Age of Calamity. And
you're the same as Pebble. You're the same as me. We wanted to play Tears of the Kingdom, hyped it up. Switch 2 announcement came out, and we just went, nah, we'll play it.
I did. I started it again. I started Switch.
So I'm the same. I thought to myself, why would I want to play it on Switch 1 when I know there's a Switch 2 enhancer version? And I thought to myself, and it's took 18 months, whatever it was. And I thought to myself, I'm going to play it on Switch 2. It was going to be the Dyings. If that was not enhanced on Switch 2, it would have been my swan song.
That's what I told. I told Rudix this exact same thing. So what I said is, I thought once I played it on Switch 2, I can't play it another way, because have you played it with the Zelda notes and you're just walking around and then they explain, like they talk about some scene in Hyrule? Like I'm like, oh wow.
I've explained this right. I think it explains it on Shades of Purple, episode 13. And I love navigation. I love more hints and lore. I don't like running around a world and I'm like, I have to find the lore. So now I've got Zelda notes and stuff like that. It just breathes extra life in saying, oh, this is what happened here. Oh, when I visit here with Link or Urbosa, it just feels more, I feel more connected. Oh, go this way. And I remember seeing a shrine. Oh, thank you for the hint.
You know? That's kept hurting my eyes. I'm using the Ultra Hand, so I'm loving it. Yeah, no, Switch to, I think it's what I also like what they did with it is, and I was trying to explain this to Rudix one time, but he was like, PlayStation can do it too. But anyway, they have the ability, like, remember State Share on Stadia, where if I took like a picture of something, I could give it to you and you could play my picture. The ability for me to farm something in Breath of the Wild, which I know that map really well, and then give it to myself in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, have you tried that feature where you go back in Breath of the Wild and then give yourself something in Tears of the Kingdom?
I have, yes. And what gets me is like these people can't find all the Korok seeds. They don't even know what an armor set is. They have to use the internet and YouTube to do it. So now Nintendo's put a system in play of an application that links in with the game.
No,
I think it's
I think
fabulous.
it's
you gotta
so
cool
cool
it.
to bring life
got-
to your. I think you stated it correctly. Breathing life into the game, like it makes me want to go back into this game, which I didn't. That's the only thing I didn't do. I didn't get all the Korok seeds. But there's a reason for me to go back, and they added content. Like there's a reason to go do that. And then, like I said, in Tears of the Kingdom, the ability for just to go and then she's talking about this shrine room or this castle, and I just like it.
we we come from the generation of like we had magazines, we had cheat codes, then we had going on the internet, basic internet forums, finding these approaches. Now we have YouTube to find the approaches. So I think Nintendo's done it great, putting these hints and subtle navigation waypoints to say, "Oh, this is what's around here," to make you explore instead going on YouTube, going, "Okay, how do I get the perfect armor set? Where's all the Korok seeds? How do I get this?" And with Zelda just hinting at it, makes you go, "Oh, okay." She said round here. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. To a,
I
to
think
ask-
it's cool. I think they
to a-
knew a lot of people did not beat. I think they saw like a lot of people started it, didn't beat it, and they've given you now the ability. They just added. They added so much more to it. And Paul, I'm with you. But Rudix, I was trying to pump up the Switch too, and why I thought it was cool. Why I thought the game share through game chat was cool. Like I try to explain that. I try to explain just the ability to use the camera and talk to like and he's like, well, PlayStation's been able to do that forever. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, usually with games, when you play games, usually someone carries you. Diabolos, whatever, and they go, "Okay, I'm going to help you to make my build." And now in Zelda, you go scan this QR code, and there you go, there's the build, and you go, "Oh,
Yeah.
thank you." And, it gives you the flexibility to play the game how you want. Some people might say it's cheating, but isn't following a high level character to grind you up past
No,
levels.
I think
also
they
same.
made it more.
It's just
They made it more accessible. They made it more accessible. You can still enjoy it. And then
you can turn the feature off if you want. I think.
What I think I look at is when Breath of the Wild came out, I don't think they built the game knowing that, hey, we're going to make Tears of the Kingdom and we're going to switch. We're going to allow you to link your two games together through this, in my opinion, what is state share. So now, given that, why I'm excited is because even though that feature may sound dumb to people, I'm like, you now have the ability to kind of link a bunch of different games together that potentially weren't linked before, and or at least in the same franchise. And it just gives reason to go back to your old games. And we were talking about Nintendo first party games, and I think they're the right company to do that. And so
notice we always link it, but
we
never
don't
Zelda.
Zelda it. You're right.
It's always Zelda notes.
No, I mean Zelda. Like I said, I'm getting, but the part about getting back into Tears of the Kingdom is the map is just so different. Like the game. I remember when Tears of the Kingdom first came out, and people were saying Tears of the Kingdom is just Breath of the Wild DLC, and I wish that were true. Because
I do feel it's an incremental step. I wouldn't say it's a generational step. I think, like God of War, Spider-Man, a blast over them games, it's an incremental step, and maybe that's because it was on the same platform.
But
Maybe
here's where.
that's
So I
how
will
we
say,
feel.
from a visual perspective, totally with you. It's the same thing. But I will say, from a gameplay perspective, the fact is, in Breath of the Wild, one of the most frustrating things is your weapons are breakable.
Oh, you think that's? I thought it was quite
Right.
clever.
But Tears of the Kingdom, you now have this ability to fuse things to the weapons to now give it abilities to strengthen it. The whole idea about fusing things to build things to get.
What wasn't that from Hero Warriors as well? You could fuse.
I didn't play the first one. I didn't
Your
play the
swords.
first Hyrule Warriors. I played Age of Calamity, but I don't remember that in Age of Calamity.
I'm pretty sure Age of Calamity you can fuse two weapons together, so you can just say, "Well, that was ready," and off you go.
I mean, I know in Age of Calamity, but it's nowhere. If it is, it's nowhere close to where Tears of the Kingdom is, where I'm literally like,
Yeah, but same mechanic that says we came from brokeable weapons to a fusion mechanic.
maybe, but I still think I wish having to relearn Tears of the Kingdom's mechanics. Like in Breath of the Wild, you have stasis, you have freeze, you have certain things. But in Tears of the Kingdom, it's like you have a totally different group of abilities that you have to traverse puzzles with and levels with. So I don't know. To me, I find that I'm trying to learn a subject in school and I totally forgot the previous two subjects. That's how it feels like right now.
Yeah, it's always that way where you put 20, 30 hours in, and you have to go back to the start.
Yeah, like I'm like, what
I
the
forgot
heck?
to play that game.
What the heck? So, but I'm back in there. You know, like I'm on the
But
second.
I've played enhanced games. I've played Tears of the Kingdom. I've played Mario Kart. I've played Mario Odyssey and stuff like that. And games do look. I played the new Splatoon 3 enhanced, and it just makes you go, "Wow, that looks nice." You know, you're familiar and it's acceptable playing a game in 1080 dock 720 handhelds that you don't think of it until it enhances and I can now notice what people are saying.
Yeah, no, it's
But I wouldn't say it's dramatic, but you can appreciate the HDR, you can appreciate the 60 frames, you can appreciate it.
yeah. I appreciate it. Like I said, to me it's like my number one gaming thing. Even though I may have to play Battlefield 6. I may have to play that on PlayStation, but right now Nintendo, all my gaming time goes on Nintendo.
You know, Nintendo to me is always going to be my first part exclusives, and it's always going to be 2D platformers. Like if they release another Rayman, it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch. If the Metrovanias, top down, the Switch is always going to be my choice.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is for me. Except for, like I said,
I wouldn't sit there and say, would I choose to play this latest fighter on it? Would I play a sports game on it? Not really, no. But for me, if I look back on what the Switch done, I paid for 100 games, and I can see myself doing exactly the same on the Switch too. If I'm going to be invested in that point, but it's more going to be my platformer, my 3D platformer, 2D 3D, and exclusives. And if Nintendo could bring 3 exclusives per year, winning's a vice. Winning's a vice.
Well, Nintendo,
So,
if you actually if you look, Nintendo's bringing basically a Nintendo exclusive each month. It may not be a first party exclusive, but they're bringing basically a Nintendo exclusive each month.
well, my niece walked into, and I took my niece, she's 5, to an anime store. And I actually took her older sister to an anime store.
So is Xbox. So.
And she's 5, and straight away she knew who Pikachu and Kirby was, and Mario. She ran to the plushies straight away. She knew who Kirby was, Mario, and Pikachu. And everything in the anime store. And you think, you got Goku, you've got Demon Slayer. No, it doesn't matter. They ran to the Nintendo section.
Wow.
Says a lot. Says a lot. And you go, do you want to go to Mario World in Kyoto or Universal Studios? And I think we're getting the Universal Studios opening in the UK in 2 years. And once you've got a Nintendo Land, where would you want to go? These kids are going to eat that up. So
I think
Nintendo.
I'm mad with them. Like I said, other people are upset with them, Purple, I don't know who is the bigger Nintendo fan, you or TK9. Oh, I told y'all earlier why I like Nintendo. I told you. I've already got 12 Switch 2 physical games. Wow. Paul, do you have um Cyberpunk?
I have.
You have
I don't have Cyberpunk on my Switch 2. I just don't see why I would want it on my Switch 2. I own Cyberpunk on PC and Steam.
So I own Cyberpunk on, I believe it's on Xbox. It may be PlayStation, but I believe I have Cyberpunk on Xbox. And the reason why I said Nintendo, the Switch 2 allows me to game more because it's flexible. Like the PlayStation or the Xbox down here, I don't really want to put it up in my office where I work a lot. I just like the dock. But what I like what Cyberpunk has done, and that is you can take your save file across platforms. They have cross save. And so I could see myself getting into Cyberpunk, especially if they do third party or third person. But
Well,
yeah. I have it on Switch.
you've seen how
So you does.
you've seen how lazy I am. Right? To the left of me, I've got the monitors that I've showed you. Right. Remember I showed you on Shades of Purple my monitors, and across me I've got a telly with the PlayStation 5 and everything connected up. And I would sit there if I'm laying here on bed, and I would usually stand up, and because Carbo was in the pool, I was like, I'm going to speak on my pillow. But it's just so easy to, instead of connecting a telly remote or getting a controller or turning a PC on and update, it's just so easy just to lean over and go, oh, I've got the Switch straight away. And everything updates in standby mode. And I just feel like I'm not waiting for updates. And it makes me feel like I was a cloud gamer.
That's what I said. I said it's the best thing that it's the closest thing to Stadia to me.
If I can get 10 minutes in or 20 minutes in and go, okay, I need to put this down, drop it in the dock, I feel like it's not an effort. Where if I went, okay, Purple, I'm going to put my telly on now and put PlayStation on, the first thing it's going to introduce me is, your PlayStation 5 needs to be updated, Windows needs to be updated. I'm like, I know PlayStation 5 has a standby mode, but Windows don't. So if I turn and try and play a game, I'm just watching installs of Windows and then shaders and then compiling, and then I'm like, I'm bored.
No, like I said, there's a reason I said what I said. And Paul, I think you're right. Look, I was curious, does it Chariot Man has it. I was curious what you thought of it. But if you're saying it looks solid, and I haven't beat it, but because Switch, like I spend about 1 to 2 hours each day now playing something on it, whether it's Mario Kart and trying to do a trick. I'm doing something with Little Nightmares, so I'm beating all of those again. I beat Diablo 3. I'm playing Dead Cells. Like, this is something I wouldn't be able to do with Switch, but it's kind of like Stadia. Like, without Stadia, I wouldn't have gotten back into gaming. Without Switch, I wouldn't be gaming as much. And I just think it's the flexibility of it.
I use the Switch in handheld mode, but I showed you a picture of my nephew. He plays it in the cradle, and then he uses the sort of extended,
the handstand, or the tabletop, whatever.
The handstand, yeah, that's it. And he plays it that way, and I'm like, why would you want to play it that way? And then you realize the flexibility to it, and you go, oh, okay, that's okay for you. But I'm always like, I'll just take it as the whole device, and I think that's what's great about it, that I can sit there and go, now if that was left on my side, I can easily drop it on the dock, connect to my TV, and pick up my Pro Controller and go, yeah, I'll just play it here, and I've not got no updates per se that are installing 10 gig every time I turn the game on. So
no, I agree. I think it's a cool, but like I said, it's just a lot for my type of game. But I can understand other people like different things, but I just would say for my type of gaming, whether it's the installs, whether it's just gaming, right? And I understand they may be putting a YouTube app on it, which I actually have some crazy theories about their YouTube app. I just like it.
What's the point? What's the point putting a YouTube app when I thought they were putting a content ban on YouTube for age appropriate?
So why? Here's my theory about putting a YouTube app on Nintendo. Okay. I feel like Nintendo, I'm not saying they're going to do this, but I feel like there is a way that everything Stadia promised with YouTube integration, some of it came true, some of it didn't. You could do that with a Nintendo app on or a YouTube Nintendo app. And what I mean by that is, obviously with PlayStation, I think you can do it at Xbox. I know you can do it at PlayStation. You can go straight and stream straight to YouTube. Great. You can already do that. But the ability to like click on a link to go straight into someone's game, or the ability to do a lot of other things like that with Switch and YouTube, or the ability to, like, we just saw developer direct.
Oh,
Let's say you click on the
I was
game
just
and you
assuming like
go to the store. Go ahead.
I was just assuming like why would YouTube put it on there? Like put YouTube Kids on all the flexibility, because I thought like if a kid could override the YouTube content and they can watch 18-year-old content or games, because I thought YouTube this August was implementing AI technology to determine your age
Well,
to let you out.
So I think there's still a thing though. You still have to register your Switch, right? Like I when it comes to people under 18, I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not under 18. I don't really hang around too many people under 18. And
Yeah,
stuff.
with those, we got registered credit cards and stuff like that. I was just wondering
Yeah.
why they would bring a YouTube app when they're already implementing everything on the Nintendo app. So a Nintendo app would register your family, your credentials, let you watch videos, trailers, everything Nintendo. I wonder why they would want to put you on YouTube to watch, I don't know, Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite. I don't know why they want the traffic to go somewhere else where you can watch on the application on your Switch. Through
Why?
Nintendo
Who would
or-
want it? Why would YouTube want it?
Why would Nintendo want YouTube taking the traffic
Because you're
away?
still on the Switch.
And then that's what I just assumed Nintendo was bringing the application out to replace YouTube. So if you wanted to watch gameplay,
Oh, you meant
hints,
like the news
trailers.
application. Yeah, the app.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was all
No,
about.
I think the news
Yeah.
application is just an extension of just the way they get you get everything that is your channel for anything Nintendo. You will first hear it on the app.
Because to me, it winds me up. I've got nieces and nephews from 12 downwards that play Nintendo. And have I seen them waste their time on YouTube when they could be playing the games on Nintendo? It frustrates me. So it's like I'd rather say to my younger family, play the games on Switch. Don't worry what people are doing on YouTube. Don't worry about following someone else playing Roblox or Minecraft. Or play the game. And I think that's what Nintendo would want. They want you to play their games than consuming YouTube content. So I wouldn't put YouTube on the Switch if that was my choice, because that's what other devices do. Your telly, your mobile
I think-
phone, your
I think it's
tablets. And
go ahead.
I would make a Switch just a gaming device, not a streaming device. I don't want Crunchyroll. I don't want Netflix. I don't want Disney Plus, Paramount Plus. I just want it as a gaming
I
handheld.
think
And
so. I think I hear what you're saying, but I also think that there's the fact that you can. I think if they know you're going to go to YouTube, because YouTube is an integral, or Twitch or whatever, if they know like that is an integral part to someone, then they would rather you go to YouTube on their device. You're still within their ecosystem. And then it's easy for you to go back to playing a game versus now you going and being on your computer. And now you're like, I think that is the trade-off they're willing to make, is that they know people are automatically going to
Okay, well,
do it.
Well, YouTube's free, so I don't know how Nintendo's making money, right? And then you go, if that was my family members, they would waste 2 hours watching someone on Roblox on YouTube, and by that time, the Nintendo Switch is dead if they were in handheld mode. So if I was Nintendo, I would say, why the battery's charged and we need statistics. I'd rather you playing a Nintendo game connected to Nintendo Life. And that's how they collect the
But
information.
I think you're discounting the idea that if the device has more value outside of just the game, doesn't that add value to the device?
Well, to me, I sit there and go, well, this device, if they wanted YouTube, they would have created 5G mobile network on a device, right? So wherever the switch goes, you're connected to your streaming services, but they didn't. They just created Wi-Fi, and you know, I'd rather when you're in Wi-Fi in your home, you've got a television, or you've got a phone, or you've got a tablet. They're not gonna you're not gonna use your Switch just for YouTube. I wonder
No,
who
I'm
uses
not
their
saying you
Switch for
will, but
YouTube.
I think what they're saying is you are going to use, like, I don't care what you're on, right? Like, you could be on PlayStation and they know, like, someone's going to go to YouTube on PlayStation. I think they know, or you could be on PC or whatever, because YouTube is so integral to people's lives or whatever. They
Yeah.
just rather you do it.
So you usually Nintendo ban Nintendo content by
Correct.
creators, right? Right. So if that's what they do, and Nintendo creates an application called Nintendo Life where they push official Nintendo content, then I just don't know why they would want a young person or a person on device to go somewhere else on YouTube. I think it's just taking away from using the
I
device
think it
themselves.
depends on who you are.
And
I think it
then when
depends. I think it depends who you are, right? If you don't want to download, you have to go download YouTube. It's not pre-installed, right? So if you don't want YouTube on there, it's not on there. No.
the only thing I would say YouTube would be beneficial if it puts in product advertising that someone can click, but then you wouldn't want anyone but ourselves to click. So I just I see this handheld as a handheld. I don't see it as a tablet. People could say it is a tablet, but I'm like,
Yeah,
no, it's a
I
handheld
think it's what you want it to
console.
be though. That's what I'm just saying. I think Holtz may think of it as like that. Purple may think of it as like maybe slightly different. But that's the same thing as anything else, you know. I think of, like, for me the Switch is a console. I don't really use handheld. But for other people it's a handheld. They don't use console. So,
But more options, I guess, is better than no options
that's
at
how I
all.
see it.
So
Purple, we only care about the games. I think I actually I'm actually going to push back on that. I think consoles, it's also about the network. Because if it was only caring about the games, PlayStation 5 would be the worst console because you have the least amount of exclusive. Well, I guess Xbox does, but PlayStation before Xbox put everything over there would have been the worst because you only had like 4 or 5 exclusives over 4 or 5 years. And so now, go ahead.
PlayStation done something dirty, right? Xbox said this is device for everything, gaming, streaming, whatever. And then when PlayStation 4 came out, they went, this is just for the players for games, and this is how you trade games. And instantly, in that instant, trading a game between, um, and it just I can't remember the names, I just threw it off and killed Xbox. And Xbox was trying to say, this box will give you everything, streaming services, gaming, it's the future. PlayStation didn't like that because it didn't have the applications available at launch to rival that. And here we are in the future. Everyone's using AI technology. Everyone's using to do stuff, and it's just part of our thing now. But sadly, Xbox was the first to do it, and the gamers just said, "I just want a game on my console." But
I think
It's
they do. I think they still want to just game. I just think there's different types of gamers. And I think Xbox catered to a hardcore gamer and then they try to pivot from that. And I just think it was a mixed messaging. That's all.
well, and that's what I see with Switch. I feel like just give us the games. Don't worry about streaming services.
We'll see. Well, they haven't put it on there, have they?
I don't know. You said that it was going to put on, and I just assumed
Well,
that.
they said they were going to put it. I just think there is unique opportunities with YouTube if they wanted to integrate it, similar to how Stadia integrated with YouTube. And I think Switch could do that, especially because, in my opinion, one of the biggest evolutions of Switch 2 is the ability to connect. Right, Switch 1 didn't have voice chat like they do on Switch 2. The camera ability, like you don't necessarily have that on Xbox. I think you might have that on PlayStation. I don't know. The ability to have the camera within the games. I know you don't have that ability on Xbox or on PlayStation. And then the ability to connect with people and be in a party chat and play the game.
Is this game streaming? When you're playing your game, you can overlay your camera, like what stage you promised. Yeah. Xbox was doing it. I think they bought a service out years ago. I can't remember what the service was called, but they did buy a dying platform that integrated it into their Xbox service. Is the camera worth it?
Is the camera worth? I have just a regular Logitech. I use a regular camera for it.
Yeah.
You don't have to use the Nintendo camera. I mean, I think people don't realize, like, I connect to family members through it. And so it's a way for me to, we're both streaming or we're both playing a game and now I'm able to connect to someone and they can see me, I can see them. And it's like, we're able to have a gaming moment, but also like a connection that equals like a call.
Yeah, because I always liked Nintendo's approach when he said, well, this is what mobile phones are for. And people pushed back saying, why would you want to connect to a mobile phone? This goes when we should have an integrated system on what PlayStation Xbox has. So I was wrong in that sense, thinking, why would people want it? But now you're explaining that if it's already integrated into the ecosystem of Nintendo, that you're benefiting from it. I go, okay, one less device to charge, set up, and it just works. And I think that's a great approach.
Well, it does. Well, that to me, it just works. So to me, everything, so far it just works. But
yeah, and people dilute it by going, oh, it's not the full Discord, it's not a full client, but as long as you got the features that benefit you, then it seems to be working.
Thank you, Amy, so much for that. Yeah, no, I totally hear where people come from, and they're like, Discord has XYZ, or Xbox can link to Discord, or PlayStation has the party chat, or to me, it's just simple. Like, best way I can explain it. It's simple. I can show my game. I don't need a PC to show someone my gameplay, right? PlayStation has that ability. Or I don't need to, like, it's easy to connect to it, right? I don't know. It just works. It's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, I've never used it, to be honest, so I couldn't speak about that feature. I've not shared content. I've not uploaded nothing to socials. I've not engaged with family. I've just
So I play with it, and I think it just, like I said, the one button to the chat is pretty cool. That's very Stadia-esque. One button to chat, and then second button to share.
I know people laughed about that button, but it looks like you're using it very.
Yeah, it's at the bottom. But again, like, if you don't need it, like, it's the option. And for the type of gamer I am, it works. And I think that's what people miss. Like, I think Lion is someone like Lion's like, hey, there's nothing I've seen on Switch 2 that entices. That's totally okay. right? I don't think the thing about Nintendo is it's not trying to be everything for everybody, but for the people who it is for, it works really, really well. And I think the Xboxes and the
Well,
PSs
what
are just different.
what's so funny about the Switch 2 is
Lotus.
it's gonna cater for the other 100.
Lotus is free. Thank you so much. Lotus is in the chat. I just want to go ahead.
What the Switch doing is it's gonna cater for the other 100 and plus 140 million that was there before it, and that's gonna be the benchmark at least. There's no way this device is gonna be overshadowed or destroyed. It's not gonna drop in numbers. It's easily gonna hit over 100 million plus. And in today's market, the younger generation are going to realize this is a handheld. What do we know? Who's the king of handhelds? Nintendo. And that's it. That's it. They got the franchises. They got the mechanics to play on handhelds, and that's what's going to work. And it's just going to go leaps and bounds. So PC gaming, great, lovely. Finally, you're joining the handheld space, but I can't see anyone knocking Nintendo off anytime soon in this market.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's other great ones, right? Like, I think it just depends on how you like it. Like, I think the Portal has a place. I think all of them have a place.
So they all have places, but when it comes to volumes of sales, the Portal's not going to sell 150 million consoles.
True.
Maybe the PlayStation 6, if they integrate a handheld properly on launch, maybe at that time people will be used to a handheld integrating and doing generational saves, I guess, cross-gen saves. But at the moment, that's years away. It's going to be Switch or other handhelds with Steam user interface, or potentially Microsoft user interface in the future. That's it.
And I want to address this comment from Cowboy. My issue with Switch 2 is the same issue I have with cloud gaming: the uncertainty to have a game I may like. I totally hear that, Cowboy. And I think if you're on PlayStation and it's working for you, or PC, or if it's working for you, then you're good, right? And I think PlayStation's a great one. It has like virtually everything comes to it. And PC is another great one. Eventually everything comes to it. To me, like, y'all know what type of gamer I am. I'm not really a first person shooter type. I'm not really like super graphic fidelity. Like, I do have a PlayStation for that. So
well, let's just play super graphics. Donkey Kong got like 90, 91. It fluxes between the 90s. Game of the Year nominee already in July. And you sit there and you go, okay, that's a good score to have at the moment within launch in 2 months. You go, that's a great idea. Could another title come out in its 90s? Could Metro 4 come out? Metro Prime 4? And you go, once you've got them two nominated to Game of the Year, and someone goes, well, I'm not playing them. But you go, I know, but from a reviewer point of view, from the critics and the media, you go, 90 is quite a high score, 9 out of 10, or 10 out of 10 masterpiece, depending on what whoever's saying it. And you go, when someone goes, well, I'm not playing it, you go, well, how are you overlooking it? If someone goes, how are you not playing them? Like, someone will say, well, I love Astrobot, childish game, platformer, supposedly, a childish thing, but then no one will play Mario, no one will play Donkey Kong. Why is that?
I think it's because, I think there is a certain type of gamer who is looking for an adult gaming experience, the best way I can explain it, a more mature experience. And yeah,
I've got family members still to this day that go, oh my god, why would I play that game? It's rehashed and play Call of Duty every year.
I think most gamers are. I think there's a lot of gamers like that. I think the gaming industry thrives off of gamers who play, you named it, Call of Duty, FIFA, Madden, and 2K, like some
and sadly,
or FC.
I was from a family group where FIFA came to Stadia. Loved it. Playing on iPads. We're going away playing on mobile. FIFA was amazing to play on the cloud. I never had no problem. And all people said was when you're getting Call of Duty, when you're getting Fortnite, and you go, got Assassin's Creed, got other genres of games, and all people said was when are you getting Call
Yeah.
of Duty?
Fortnite.
When are you getting Fortnite? And it was upsetting to say, well, we're not going to get them, sadly, but we've got the leading games of this year. And it was, no, well, I want Fortnite. I want Call of Duty. Now, I can look at my family members, they've all got PlayStation 5s, and all they're playing is Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft on a PlayStation 5. And then people are sitting there talking about graphical fidelity. And I'm like, well, the best selling games are not high fidelity, so why should we put that
That's
preference on handheld? And you go, why should we put that graphical fidelity on handhelds when the leading games are all low fidelity of graphics on PlayStation?
I think that's the conundrum. I think that's the thing. There's a vocal minority who wants the biggest, brightest, shiniest thing ever. However, there is a large majority who want to play what's comfortable. And they don't want that what's comfortable to change. And this is the push and pull. Do you make a game that you put a lot into, that's low graphics and so forth, and it doesn't outshine, or do you put all this money into something really big and people then will tear it apart for any number of reasons? I think it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard needle to thread.
I've been on Shades of Purple. I've been previously in 2019, like, podcasts, and I always said mechanics and textures and fields of view and stuff like that is more important to me than FPS and resolution. And people go, "Oh, you're crazy," and I'm like, "Look at the mold now. People are pushing against that because frames and resolution be fake frames. They can sort of be generated with FSR or DLSS and PSSR and stuff like that." And I'm like, the game to me now, as I'm getting older, is fundamentally the mechanics and to have fun playing.
Yeah, that's what it should always be.
And you hit a point and you go, that's all it should be. And these people that are still going, oh, yeah, to count the pixels, to count this, I'm going, no, who gives a crap these days?
No, I think there's a group that does care about it, and but I also think gaming, as Simpleton would say, gaming's meant to be fun. And is like Cowboy's talking about this match racing game or match fire. I don't even know what the game is. And like that's what if it's fun, it's fun. And so I say, as long as games are supposed to be fun, then what's the next evolution? Like what's the next iteration? Well, what allows you to have the most fun, right? So if you already know the game is there, then what allows you to have the most fun? Is it the funnest game, or is it to enjoy fun the longest?
Well,
like I think that's
sadly, when people spoke about the Switch 2 and they wanted a home console, traditional home console, I was like, you can't create a device like the Switch, lightweight, portable, flexible, and you can't just make another box. This is the future. This is that hybrid approach is what's going forward, and we're seeing it in handheld spaces. Having that dock mode, wired, this is what seems to be changing. Xbox has done it with the ROG Ally. It looks like PlayStation is going to do it with their future console having a handheld. And you go, Nintendo, you've done right. So it looks like that they understand games more than the people that we're talking to on podcasts, where they're going, I want a powerful console.
Yeah. Oh, I think Nintendo has a point of view. Right. I think Nintendo has a point of view on what's fun. And I think people who are on pocket, like through us, right? And people who there is this point of like, it's just something else. I just think there's just different people. There's just different people. It's just who's the majority. Who's the actual majority?
Isn't it weird that Switch had Assassin's Creed Cloud? There are a few cloud games close to launch of the device. And now on the Switch 2, we've not heard any cloud game.
I played the cloud games on Switch too, by the way. I bought two. I bought Resident Evil
Oh,
8, 7 or 8, and I bought Plague Tale.
did they promote it? Okay, so there is cloud
But they were the Switch. They were the
editions of
Switch
games.
One cloud version of the games.
Oh, okay, so they're not Switch 2
They're not
games.
Switch
I
2
just thought,
games
like,
that are
maybe.
made in the cloud. No, but I think that could be an like I think Nintendo's keeping, just like PlayStation. They actually set this. PlayStation set this in their fireside chat, which is if they see people going towards a cloud-based universe, they have the ability to make things cloud. I think Nintendo's the same thing. If they see that cloud is picking up, that people want that, and that's why I think, like, I find it hard to think that why would you create another console if you're Nintendo, if you do go towards a cloud future where there's cloud games, if the Switch 2 can get cloud. Like, I don't know. Purple, I've been listening since I've in the pool in the house, went to the McDonald's, and now I'm in the shower and I'm still, oh my goodness, Cowboy. Thanks.
He's explained that from your life, isn't he?
My goodness. I appreciate you, Cowboy. I just appreciate everybody. I know we should probably be wrapping it up, but yeah, that's my thing with Switch. So we'll see. But Holtz, what are you before we unless there's something else, what are you playing?
I've been playing Donkey Kong and Mario Kart off and on. I've been more focused in media. I've been loving everything Disney, should I say. I watched Lilo and Stitch the other day. I watched the Thunderbolts. I've just been buying stuff on Apple, and it's just so funny to see how my family's approach is different to what the media's saying on the internet. So.
No, well, real world is different than internet world. That is for sure.
So being having a great approach with Disney movies, been watching the England ladies win the Euro Cup. You have a great time with that. Seen the parade. I'm looking forward to other movies coming out in the next few weeks. Yeah, so just been enjoying Disney Marvel movies in the cinema, and yeah, few games on the Switch. I've not dived into anything heavy. There's no games that interest me at the moment that's heavily fidelity or I have to rush out and play. So the Switch 2 has been my go-to. And yeah, just being in.
Well, Holt, if you have time, we would. And Paul, if you're out there as well, I don't know if Mr. Byron plays left or not, but if someone does catch him, would love to see you join the Mario Kart. Was proud of our line. Oh wow, Paul Stiller. We're glad to have both of you join our Mario Kart World streams on Sunday.
Oh, Purple, I'll pass that message on to Holt. Remember, I'm only
yes. Well, AI, could you pass that message on to Holt? We will be doing Mario Kart World.
Send the text. Sending that text now. Beep, bop, 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 bop. Holt has received
I would
the message.
love if and that goes to anybody who has it and you want to play. We're a little competitive, but I don't think there's unless we have like Denise or one of the 10-year-olds in chat. We're I think we rotate who wins. So we're not
You rotate who wins. I've seen your streams. 1 minute you're going boo, then you slip into first. Yes, you don't run. You all accidentally fall into first, and that's you always say there's only two things that's fair. Mario Kart and Monopoly. They're the only times you can have love and war together because it brings the competitive nature out of everyone. So
I am not competitive. Come on, do I look competitive?
I've seen you go, oh, it's only a game. I'm ranked 6th, and when you win first, you're like, yes, yes. Like you're the most, and that's all of us. We think we're the most skillful gamer. Someone throws a blue shell, gets a bullet, and off you go. And yes. I think that's what's so fun about Mario Kart. It can make anyone go from last to first in a click of a button. So
Yeah.
it brings
Paul,
us
I'll
up.
put it. Paul, are you part of the? Paul, you're in the Discord. I'll send you a message in the Discord. I don't have my code
Now,
right now.
if any of you do ghost trials and put your, then that's when the competitive.
I
makes
do
it go
Ghost
in.
Trials. I do. I play it out. Don't forget Uno. That causes big drama. Yeah, that does. No. Yeah, that's a big one. Well, Mario Kart. It's a friendly competition unless you throw a blue shell at me at the end. Then we're in trouble.
Now, before we go, the best thing to do with a blue shell is just reverse. So everyone that tries to act cocky, hit them as well.
No, blue. No, it locks on. I don't
They
know.
do.
It is.
No. So what you do is, you know you're first. You know you're talented because you're first. When someone throws a blue shell at you, just reverse backwards. So everyone goes, "What are they doing?" And the blue shell hits all these.
Oh
So,
my goodness. No, that's not what they're going to do because they're going to be like, oh, the blue shell's coming. It's locked on them, not on me.
yeah, but then they have to stop, because if you wave across the stage, they don't want to overpass you because the blue shell will hit them.
Well, no, it's locked. You can pass someone with the blue. That's the dangerous.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, if say they locked onto me, I'm first, and you're coming up to overlap me, I'll make sure
Oh,
that I
you
hit
want you
you, and
drive
I'll
close
slow
to
you
them
down.
so that they hit them too. I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
so the blast radius gets all of us, because you fire a shell of Holt, so I'm not taking that shell alone. We're all getting it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Cherry Man. Well, Cherry Man's played with us. Cherry Man, always invited. Mario Kart World Sundays. I love the fact that we can get 24 people in the race at the same time. So, all right, Holt. Well,
Can we have a voiceover? Purple Haze Paul.
I should
Like,
do that, like Mario Kart
you
World.
know, no, but we just do it in your voice. You know what I mean? It's the Purple Haze.
We should
3.
try that. We should. Great idea. Great idea. All right. Well, y'all, thank you so much. We talked to Lo-Fi. We talked to Cowboy. Crazy Louie ran away. But appreciate everybody. Appreciate Ambi and Lotus for the donations. I think Lotus, you broke it. That's super cool. No worries. And you didn't break it, Lotus. You know that. But thank you to everybody who came by. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. We will be streaming Orcs Must Die on Saturday. And Mario Kart, most likely we will do just a little bit of deluxe, and then we'll spend more time on roll because we did deluxe the entire time last time. But with that, I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, what you game on, how long you be gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, and thank you to Cowboy, Holtz, and Lo-Fi for coming on. Thank you for y'all coming on. But with that, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plane. All right. Thank you so much, and I will see you all on the next one.